Good everybody, it's Gang here. Welcome to a new interesting form of thing where in this case it's going to be possibly, maybe, just maybe, a new form of series and or type of videos where I do a form of reaction or a form of breakdown videos that are through a reactionary type of site. I don't know. I don't know what type of form, playlist I'll be trying to go make out of this. But regardless of whatever it may be, this can't just be accounting to be in Godsking music or be a different type of thing. The other idea I have for it would be the case of the King's reaction, right? I don't know. It's a unique form of vid. But as you see by the title and on screen, I'm going to be reviewing my music. I talked about on stream in different bigger open discussion behind the scenes, right, about how my music's quality is and how it contributes to the series that it was made for, right, which eventually, I lost in the case of a bigger context thing that I don't want to get into. But obviously, for you guys that are, Mixed Bag fans, viewers of my channel, or stopping by, which if you are stopping by, hello, my name is King. Nice to meet you. Hope your day is going good. If you're new here, please like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever the case may be. Got a few different busts in case of content that I can't wait to go on and pump out. Been in the lab doing a bunch of different stuff, and I'm almost finished with that last two series, right? But with that being said, though, I wanted to say that, again, this entire soundtrack, The Big Samurai, that Tally is a nothing but creative, passionate, and very much beloved form of soundtrack of mine, with taking a bunch of different popular mix beats or unique form beats that I've technically made by myself and made into an interesting form of not only kind of through lyrics, deeper dive in some aspects of the perspective of the main character, the Big Samurai, or real name Takeda, and as well, a man that is passionate about music. I've always been a big avid, not only connoisseur for how to deeper dive into different tales of music and different story beats through that, but I just love soundtracks because I love seeing a different art of a project through music. And again, this is a beloved series of mine that I unfortunately lost and couldn't, have as a great legacy shine. But regardless of that, it is still something that I love the most, like any other case of, creation that I've made. And today, obviously, I'm going to be as the, creator of it, right, the producer of it, technically, going to be reviewing it. I'm reviewing it from top to bottom. We have 28 songs, right? It's going to be a decently longer form video, and probably with this soundtrack and the one next, right, not only is just going to be one of the most longest formatted videos, but as well be one of the most creative and going to be very critical, going to be honest. I'm also going to give origin and give somewhat of like a, tale of what these songs are supposed to be about. Going to be as as concise, concrete, and defined as possible for how I speak about it, how I'm going to talk about it. Again, if you're new, leave like, share, subscribe, comment, where the case may be. Like I said before, enough with all that talk as well. Might possibly get copyrighted because some mixed form of beats or different mention. Hopefully, like it doesn't get in too much trouble because at the end of the day I am reviewing my own music, but it is what it is. Regardless, though, here we have One Wifey, parentheses 2025 remastered. This song is supposed to be for the case of the iconic sex scene between the Big Samurai and his love interest Soji. Supposed to illustrate different things. It's more showcasing my lyricism and my vocals, and I feel like it was decent. I feel like this remaster is a little bit better, but the original is still better.
Oh baby, I've always loved you so dearly. Always chase your arms around me. Feel your spirit tucked deep inside me. When I see you move, it made me turn to a whole different man. Love is so mesmerizing and so cold at the same time. But when I'm with you, baby girl, I see the warmth in your eyes, making love into the sunrise. Let me hold you and drop this loving inside. When I feel you close to me, there ain't no difference to recognize. I just wanna see you shine, as bright as the moonlight. no difference in our love when we hold each other tight. I just wanna see you into the end of the night.
Yeah, that's spoiler. All right. Obviously, that was a mixed input, right? That I feel like was not bad, but a mixed run of not only the background and Thai beat, mixed music, trying to follow up with the kind of minimal split of the already ongoing beat was a little bit off-putting. Think my core voice was fine, but just kind of putting that in without the obviously decently synchronized mixed beat and voice, as the beat plays an input and output of my voice, because obviously I'm singing or rapping over it. Obviously I do different unique ways to shine out my stuff, as the whole musical thing was a thing I was more into when I was younger, and I talked about that on record, right? Again, I've always been a connoisseur and big ass fan of music, but making it, I've obviously never been like the best like craftsman of, and I'm not gonna act like I am. And again, this is all from a different creative perspective, right? I would say that by itself, it's not bad because the lyrics have a great sense of touch, right? This is all a sense of kind of reckoning of the aspect of what, the relationship of the Big Samurai and Soji is, where it's a man that wants to be with his lady, even if he has no right to, he doesn't deserve her, and most importantly, he, even with all his love and passion that he might have for the relationship, in the mix of physical or something else, he will never get to it, right? Did not mean to go ahead and pause there. But simply put, in this sense, to go and rewind a little bit, I feel like it does have a great sentiment of trying to drive that home, even if in that course there wasn't the best. Because we'll get to the original song, which I do think is better. I just feel like it's not necessarily better just because of the fact that it's original. It's just better because it better ties together. As I did a few different things that I feel like, no, actually, has this in my throat, pause, no diddy, wasn't like a bad redo. It wasn't the most like, I guess, big jarring difference, to say the least. I didn't do that much distinctly that made it different and better. And again, at core, with the theme of the song, I think it's a fine thing, even if you've seen the series or not, with the fact that a man wants to be with a wifey that he doesn't deserve, he can't have because of his own self-indulgence into madness and destruction and callousness, where the fuck, right? He does a lot of things that brew insanity for him, right? But even with that, again, just for one night, he can have the pleasantry of being with a woman like never seen before. You know what I'm saying? So that is kind of like the bigger aspect of it. In that presence, I feel like that was decently shown. So I think the song right now is okay, but that's the one blaring flaw, the beat correspondence, and then just that input.
Into the end of the night. When I see you move, it made me turn to a whole different man.
See, it comes back better. I did not mean to go on pause in a mixture there, right? It kind of discourse in a mixed different form, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to get some more to say this, but...
Love is so mesmerizing and so cold at the same time. But when I'm with you, baby girl, I see the warmth in your eyes, making love into the sunrise. Let me hold you and drop this loving inside. When I feel you close to me, there ain't no difference to recognize. It's just loving you. Our love just rings so bright. Even in my sanity, I see a better side through you. My blossoming teen, my baby boo, I'm trying to ride with you even in this insanity. Oh baby, just loving you.
That was a lot more decently better in this game sense. It's just in the vocal sense. It's kind of mixed thing. And I don't think I'm the most superb singer. I feel like I have a decent feel with it. I feel like my voice isn't too bad. Unironically, better tune up on my voice, aka, the most proficient thing for people who necessarily in lyricism aren't bad at the singing, but natural credit of their voice. Obviously, I'm not like no fucking Rihanna, Chris Brown, Beyonce. I don't have fucking God tier elite singing on vocalism. That is just on a whole different wide scope than anyone else in comparison. And I will never say I'm on the credit of those masterclass singers, those people that have reformed the game on their iconic voice. But I would say for what I'm doing, for a soundtrack for RP, for a small creation, it's not the most terrible singing, but it's also not the most best singing. You know what I'm saying? Really, it just is more average, right? Like I said, not the worst, not the best singing, but not as well, best seeming to the point where it could be something else. And I don't mean it's like singing and seeming. I really do mean seeming. It's not the best seeming, but it also isn't like, best singing for something of greatest thing. It's just average. But I would like to say for what this is, another credit shouldn't be. It's better than Mr.
My wifey, my lady, my dear sweet Jimmy time friend. Let me see you, baby.
That right there is an obvious. Has left over a little bit of the split of the beat, and that kind of is just an off-putting thing, especially because it just cuts there miraculously. That was a mixed accident for me. And behind the scenes, I'm taking it because I didn't realize that. But yeah, like that's a little bit of like weird, like editing, like musical input. And again, like I just said before we went into it, I'm gonna go pop right into it, right? But it's a thing of like a mixed feeling because we'll hear it again, right? And I'm gonna pause here. Like I said, I meant to unpause. So meant to pop back into it. It's just the fact of the matter is that it's more just input. Again, my singing, I feel like carry on with a nice touch, and it is, to me, decently soothing, right? As a man that has a lot of great emotional spirit, I would say that my singing can be a great soothing. My shit is, again, not the best. I would like to say to my own, criticism, not necessarily like the worst, not the worst seeming, but also not the worst, singing for what it is. It's just, it could be a better singing worth if I guess greater tight knit it, and I think that there's some different forms of my singing in other places that have more to be, taken from. There's more to be loved there. But just on the audio cancel, the editing around this remastered was not the best. And in case somebody's curious, I do plan to possibly do maybe more remasters depending on how I feel. But I don't want to keep adding to a soundtrack. That's not going to go anywhere. It's just One Waifu was my favorite song to record and, sing for. So that's why I did it. So that's just like for the record. But yeah, I mean, it just could have been better inputted. Like that fucks up the case of my whole singing there. Over like kind of loud seeming like mixed like beat in there when my singing is already like I would say finally put in there. But that was good in the case of my singing. And that kind of like ruins all around touch. The whole baby, it just was finely tuned, like that was set in stone. But then that again just kind of overpasses it, overly like trying the full finish type thing. That was just entirely unneeded there. Love the beat for it. I'm pretty sure finna get some master of that, but makes the beat. Well, no, I do not in this case. That's kind of crazy in this sense. Alright, well, I'll show you guys obviously the mixed beat for it, and shout out to the people that made it, and I'm glad that I was able to take it and be able to kind of do my different, like, show a different turn and have it be this more slow, blues jam that's more like fast, very like beat, you know, type of thing. Where if you hear the original, it's a lot more. How should I say this? It's not as slow jammy, but it's very much rubbing off the aspect of like a type of song you would play to only get into the vibe of sexual tension that would rub off cool, but then cause into very fly of the handles thing, where someone would really, I guess, pop off of whatever essence of greater singing. When with this one, right, it's a lot more cool slate to, you know what I'm saying? Not very exciting, not very overbloated with energy, to say the least. It's kind of always weird to go and like describe music in this type of field. It's an obvious, but again, no idea, new impression. But that's the end of the song. So my rating of these songs, right? Again, will always be critical and in depth. One Wifey, parentheses 25. With this being said, I would say is very much a decent aspect of trying to be creative and unique in core principle, but doesn't really conclude soundly in actual creative mark, because I let the mainline song play out. I input myself kind of weirdly. The beat don't match up, but they're already going on beat and trying to make a crossover between a new reform beat to make a unique sound to it, right? As the first song, my idea that was kind of thing that could maybe be advanced was to really switch up the beat in a unique way like others. But unlike with mainline music that most people will listen to, any rapper, R&B singer, doesn't matter, they have a continuous already constructed beat. I should have merged the beats in a way that was fully definedly sound and was able to be done in a way uniquely and surprising from that. You know what I'm saying? So again, to reiterate, my rating of One Wifey parentheses with 2025 remastered, but obviously with parentheses with 25 remastered, right? I would say that the song, with this being said, it's cool lyricism, other stuff, but I would give it all around, probably a 5.5 out of 10. Very simple case, mid to average. Next song, though, is The Big Samurai with the intro I mentioned. And with this, I'll be rating not only the song, but as well the intro. Presented by Godsking Champion or directed by Godsking Champion.
When it comes to honor, I move with old Nick for brutal finish and killing till ain't no other and public like I own it. We don't discriminate, straight eliminate. You already know it moves. I'm a show hair, I'm a warrior monk, but I got no compassion, no sympathy, no spirit. I'm a straight peanut on the monster, move for vengeance. Straight moving with the 7 master weapons, malice, club, moving with my spear, with the sickle, with a garden tool, moving with a vision club, moving with the whole piece of metal, clock cocking, with a whole saw, with the move of a fitting and beast in human skin, like I'm fury with a whole news, with a whole piece of metal nightmare, with a whole piece of metal beast in human skin, like I'm just a body, with a nightmare moving with a whole piece of fury, move like Mike Tyson on the hunt, ready to kill, moving like I'm craving hunting, moving fucking ill, moving with the violation only in the mind, moving like Michael Myers, too fucking sublime. I'm moving with vengeance from my father, Master Takashi, straight killed in front of me. When I was a little baby, I'm trying to move with a whole piece of metal, killing instinct. Fuck with me, you gon' be a nightmare on the scene. Make sure everybody remember the name, big guy samurai, straight nightmare to that lands of the Maya. Fuck with me, you gon' be feeling a whole higher. With a piece of metal, killing H blood scene. Yeah.
Alright, hold on. That was a lot. Alright, we're gonna go back. Not a full list to it unless I need to. But first of all, I think it is an intro. Obviously, it's an obvious. This is a series that is being repped by For Honor. Big game out if you haven't. New season, new character, Futureza. I'm gonna peek about her to see about my opinion of her and all that. It's gonna be through Twitch. But with this being said, I want to first off say that I think as an intro and integrating my first playing of Sohei and mix some shit that can't be mixed, represented in the case of a series on some occasions is a fine thing. But this might be mixed turn off because this is actually the intro. Like that generally is the intro. but that might turn off some people because it's not my own unique form of intro. But the thing is that when I was starting a Big Samurai, I didn't have a lot of people to come into play to go and actually make the intro the best I could, and as well do deeper dives and deeper pool of different shit with it, right? So that's kind of just, the context for why shit is the way it is. Now, to greater illustrate and to finally say what I need to say about this, right, is the fact of the matter is that I feel like the intro is very busted in its own right. I would say for how unique it is, even with the obvious showcasings of like, bots, being in mixed training arena, all that shit. That even then, I think the intro can get a reasonable, solid 7 to an 8. I think it's good. I think it's fine. I think it has cool gas. The trailer for Sohei is one of the best trailers I feel like Ubisoft has done, not only For Honor, but in a big while, right? It's very menacing. It's very anime-ish. It's very defined reckoning of the essence of not only a Japanese warrior monk, but a vengeful, brutacious one who got no care for nobody, you know what I'm saying? And is here on a mission to go ahead and plunge his great Kamehameha spear through any man or woman that he gets in the way of, you know what I'm saying? This man is nothing but a hound of brutatiousness, vicious, ruthless, you know what I'm saying? Zenkai, nigga, you already know what it is. Simply put, you know what I'm saying? That entire field of he can take his Kamehameha spear, ready to punch for any enemy that gets in his way, right? Is interesting. The song, though, I think is reasonably soundly busting. It sounds cool. I think it is flavorful. I think in the all-around feel, I had a cool rap. The beat is busting, right? That is from the rapper Sean. I'm gonna give my own video a like, or I know what it is. But yeah, okay, don't even have a beat here. Okay, well, it's in the original Big Samurai thing. This is for the intro. Obviously, there's the Big Samurai, intro for the song, like shit. That's all the way down at the bottom. We'll get for that, re-rated on just that record. But the song and mixed with the intro is what I'm going to soundly rate here, right? Again, we'll get to all that, right? But the Big Samurai as an intro piece, I think, is the finally delivered. I think the rap is cool. I think the lyrics are cool and interesting and fun. The only mixed problem is a little bit of repetition and kind of mixed, not like formal rhyme. Talking about who is mad at the big cock clocking, you know what I'm saying? It just sounds kind of goofy, even though that's kind of the truth, because when Sohei does fight, he does sound like he is hitting at some bigger thing and makes very clock like drum sounds. He even has like emos that is dedicated to making it seem like he's doing drums, doing musical or instrument form like type, even one where he's referencing the fucking plane navigator to directors with the lights, glow stick looking motherfuckers, all that shit, right? He has different showcasings of him using all his 7 master weapons: Kamehameha spear, kanabo, mallet, pitchfork, katana to blade. He has obviously, the case of a big different hand blade, and as well a big ass different club. So yeah, like he has a bunch of different mixture of weaponry that ties to reckoning of the aspect of using instrument or doing some form of great bashing, blamming, cutting, skewering, all that shit, right? I mean, he can literally shish kebab you again with his Kamehameha spear. But I feel like that's a little bit of a problem, a little bit of repetition, talking about case of this, case of that, and just kind of being, I guess, not the most really electrifying with those lyrics. Granted, this is for, a character that can be in his own right mixed goofy. This is for a historical fantasy, project. And if you know the context of it and or know of the character by game and you play For Honor, it might be better fitting. But just looking from a outside perspective, even from again, trying to be as non-biased and critical, I would say you can fuck with this intro. It doesn't sound terrible. It sounds a lot more better. So with those little mixed bag, partial nitpicks to reasonable critiques, I think the song mixed with the intro can be as well a great sense of dang near 8. But the song in general, with mix of this, again, I might change my opinion when we get all the way down. I hear it by itself, and now I make sure with the intro, do a little bit, some little devil change with how it is, I think soundly, I give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. I think that's a reasonable rating. I think it's fine. It's cool. It's just maybe not the best audible sense. Repetition and kind of one of those lines not making sense. I'm going to rehear it though, just to give a full opinion. 24 views with this.
It comes to honor, I move with old Nick for brutal finish and killing till ain't no other and pop up like I own it. Blue discriminate, straight eliminate. You already know it moves. I'm a show head, I'm a warrior monk, but I got no compassion, no sympathy, no spirit. I'm a straight demon on the monster, move for vengeance. Straight moving with the seven master weapons.
Mallet, club, moving with my spear, moving with a garden too.
Moving with a vision club, moving with the...
Man, I forgot about that because I forgot entirely, great deal of not only all the time master weapons, but it's a mix of that. Because I obviously heard the sickle, right? 7 master weapons, Kamiari spear, club, blade, pitchfork, mallet, sickle, and as well, kind of credit of giving from kind of bowl to be talked about with that, because the club by itself is obviously showed good, right?
With the sickle, with a garden too. Moving with a vision club, moving with the whole piece of metal clock clocking, with a whole saw with the
like that is a
human skin like I'm pure
with saw is the greater case of blade. That's exactly what it's called. So again, 7 master weapon, Kamiari spear, kanabo, mallet, club, blade that's in the form of katana like form thing, aka in the actual series the second Muramasa, because it was cracked down to be just a simple dagger blade, so that people wouldn't actually know of its true case of existence, right? Because of a whole bunch of different, lore background about the case of, the actual Muramasas or Murasama blades being in utilization for different, PT grievances and, different forms of, fulala, flagrant acts of violence, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of different lore drop shit there. I'm not about to go on how Martin Luther King speak on that, and at the end of the day, we are here for music, and I'm gonna go focus on that, right? But sorry, so I'm gonna throw a pause again. I'm gonna drink some water more. Early morning by the time I'm recording this as well. But regardless of that, to simply stay on that topic is very interesting, and the usage of all that. And obviously, again, saw all form of 7 master weapons, cool shit.
With a whole news, with a whole I'm not a nightmare, with a whole I'm not a beast in human skin like I'm just a body. With a night moving with a whole piece of theory. Move like Mike Tyson on the hunt, ready to kill. Moving like I'm craving a hunt and moving fucking ill. Moving with the violation only in the mind.
A lot of moving, but at the same time, I think that's kind of like the fun matter to it. We're saying that I'm moving like this, moving like that, doing this. Saying I'm doing all this in crazy instant matter of shit. Obviously, I could speak to get a talk, but I think that's a defiance as an intro to really pull you into the mindset of that, to say the least.
Like Michael Myers, too fucking sublime. I'm moving with vengeance from my father, Master Takashi, straight killed in front of me. When I was a little baby, I'm trying to move with all piece of metal, killing instinct. Fuck with me, you gon' be a nightmare on the scene. Make sure I remember the name, big guy, samurai. Straight nightmare to the lands of the Maya. Fuck with me, you gon' be feeling all higher. With a piece of metal, killing blood scene.
Yeah, well, some shit. I still agree with the 7.5 out of 10, right? And for the record, Shauna is a female rapper, is an obvious, possible out of name, right? And as well is a, same person from Def Jam 5 from New York. But next is Insanity. Now, this song is supposed to represent the slow, unfortunate brew of insanity, distortion, and madness of the Big Samurai. This is when he comes to the unfortunate reveal that his, in truth, mother, Hiyoko Mako, who killed his father on some Afro Samurai shit, has been dead the entire time as well, like Afro Samurai. Because for y'all don't know, the Big Samurai takes a great deal of heavy, can't even lie, inspiration from Afro Samurai, and decent, different, unique ways, but very much is a story entirely trying to reckon and or deliver the same sentiment of theme as Afro Samurai, but in my own unique, arguable ways. But still, with that being said, this song is a mixture different from beats to be used, right? As I use Something in the Way, instrumental, reprised by a YouTuber, and then I changed it up and did different unique things. Hear a little bit of my voice in the mix there. It does sound very low, so there's a level of the first half is very mixed in sound tone. You can hear it decently, but again, it's supposed to be in the background of the scene, so it kind of sets the mood in a unique way. but then as well using Brian Tyler's I'm Sorry, parentheses Far Cry 3, and doing a little bit of in sound boost that's kind of more fast paced, right? But it's deliberately that. And the last one is simply just when Yoko Mako appears in, man, the myth, the legend, the big samurai's head. But yeah, let's go and listen to the rest of it. And is it obvious as well, because like in the description, in case anybody says, obviously I know that Yoko Mako's theme is Path 5, but I'm just saying, like, for people to mix it for reference, because I got told that it was original created theme, which I'm a bigger talk about with Yoko Mako, because I have a lot of shit I want to say in greater form. No, like, big out of pocket, like, negativity or whatever, but there's a lot of, like, lore I want to drop for that theme, but in a unique way, made different from the case of Max Richard, which out to him, with Path 5 being a short edit version of Path 4, the original song. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't listen to his music. Make Path 5, like I said. It's cool mix within scenery, and then the background music. You hear my voice faintly in the case of very raspy, whispery form. That said, while Yoko Mako is coming into play, but as well supposed to be a mixed count of her actual voice in mind, right? Because unfortunately I had to play not only Yoko Mako, but as well the Big Samurai. But, you know, it's very fun and most, you know, defined. I felt like shining of unique introspection of a very mentally ill man, to say the least, in a lot of interesting form, right? Very defined telling and demonstration of shit in this case instance. So yeah. Very chill and presence. Something I've always liked with not only this song by itself, but how it was utilized for Yoko Mako, who is this man Big Samurai's biggest nightmare, his boogie woman, right? I think as a unique three-way piece between Something in the Way, Brian Taylor's I'm Sorry, and Yoko Mako's theme / Path 5, it's a cool, unique, done piece that anyone has, you know, the freedom to use. Obviously, I wouldn't be copyrighting you on this form of music / you know, my music at the end of the day, regardless, because like no label is tied to this. Obviously, that's some dumbass shit, that's some petty bum shit. But I'm just saying, like, I think for what it is, it's a cool thing, and it has good music in it that isn't, you know, entirely, if I don't mind, even whatever, you know, case of like unique form that I did, like I do this little dabble of difference in how the song plays, matter of the beat, and the form of its essence being to a different distinct form that you don't really have a real telling of the exact form of it. Like, I know a lot of niggas would not really tell that the first half of the song is Something in the Way, because of how low sound it is. Only the little doom, doom, that I do partial form of like bass to kind of add a difference of essence. It just is kind of different to what I've made into this point, and this is obviously an in series thing. And the title, I think, is a great representation of it. I feel like this entire song can represent how insanity can be. 1 second it's calm, it's off-putting, it's disturbing. The next it's very crazy, it's very kind of over the place, it's very running of like a very like psychologically dismemberment, a level of like uncanniness, a flowing of like all different type of emotions. And then the last is the chilling embrace of actual insanity, where you go into a mental kind of like draconic state where you're entirely absent of what fuels your soul, the person inside, all that shit. And like I said, kids, it kind of seems a little bit like mixed weird form saying, because speaking very fast, man, been enough, but concrete, concise, defined, precise in my means, gotta touch the nigga, pump precise like handsome, brother. But you're excited though, like simply put, bro, it's like in the sense that it was put together this way, I feel like it is a cool listening. But like I said, it's like if whatever like person would go about like peaking this, I don't feel like they would actually be able to tell properly that that was that, unless they're very fond of the song and mention, right, and realize that something in the way was playing because of the little boom, kind of like bass, like a drum fill, and giving of the essence. I feel like it is a cool artistic piece. And again, to rescind my statement, that someone couldn't really tell like whatever it was, I don't necessarily think that's bad. I think that's more or less good. But it also, if you were trying to take this from the perspective of a guy making a unique song off of others, the first song didn't really hit, and the two other songs hit a lot more better. And the song, to a level of extent, without again my description of it, my history, everything I have to say to, I guess, best concretely, form the point that this is not only a piece reckoning of something different, but also illustrating something of unique tale of, again, a piece being something so unique because of the fact that it ties to a bunch of other shit. This is a type of song that is played in advance for something else, and as well played in advance to reckon a unique turn of events for a character's mental. I feel like the song would objectively just not hit as much. And again, no repetition. A person trying to take in this song and not knowing whatever the fuck it is, like shit, I feel like that is also a big thing. So in conclusion, I think most conclusively that I'll probably give this song as an interesting piece itself, bare minimum like 6.5, but I think you would just have to give the song an objective just 5. It's okay. It works. It's middle of the road. It's meh. It doesn't have anything that jarring or interesting besides just being a kind of whatever finally listenable, I would say. As I would like to say, for the most part, most of my songs, right? Unless, again, because I haven't listened to my soundtrack entirely in a very long time, because I listen to a few here and there songs that I put out. Obviously, I listen to my own music before I put it out, but my impression of it first off, and my idea for, solid or dang near perfection is, mixed different subjective tastes. And again, I'm using the most critical thinking I can, and again, the most solidly articulate, as a brother I feel like has been doing finally in this, right? And you're still watching, appreciate it. It's just like, it is what it is. Like, it's just fine, and what people like would have whatever reason to understand, or person not being able to what the fuck this is. I don't necessarily know, but I would probably say is very low. But again, it's just kind of a whatever thing. It's very meh. Like I said, it's just that. That's all I have to say. I don't want to come off too negative to my own piece, and I do think it's cool. I think it's cool in concept, but it don't do nothing that much daring or distinctly out there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. But yeah, going about moving to Beast. And this song's supposed to be when the big samurai awakens back from, his draconic, down form and ready to fight. This Beast from Future Last Breath. Good song.
Nowhere to go, nowhere to front. Time to go and finish the job and go and get revenge. Trying to go and get retribution for my father that you took in front of me. Time to go ahead and show you this real insanity. Time to go and show you what it feels like and take the innocence of your life.
Let's stop right there. Alright. Face value. I think it starts off cool. Talk of really repping that monster that Yeko Mako says, full indulgent and all the shit that she says, and again knowing all the lore shit. Like I said with Insanity, not to pull back. I'm just saying, if a person comes in, don't really know like what or whatever fuck it really is, right? Is like a greater deal of point with almost all of this, but to a level of extent difference depending on the case. Insanity being the most jarring because it is just a random piece. The context being just with the name, tied as well with the lyrics, giving a great introduction for a 2-minute and 36-second song with 40 seconds in. I think that it was a defined thing. Like I said, unlike Insanity, it's just like if a person comes in and just doesn't have anything to say and it's just like, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a mixed bag thing to really say for another person. But at the same time, just from my perspective, I think it is a fine-tuned setup. Now let's hear the rest of those.
Pillar of vengeance, boundless strength, like I'm Broly, moving like I'm Kratos, straight decimation, straight desecration, straight evisceration, like I'm Kendrick Lamar blazing, moving too different, dynamic splitting, moving too different with the 7 massive weapons. I'm on the run, full vengeance, on the beast moves, you made me this monster. Time to go and show you
what the fuck, that was way too fast, hold on.
On the beast moves, you made me this monster. Time to go and show you what it means to run, full vengeance.
Obviously the subtitles, I don't know if you can best like take this, but if I had to say, it's like full vengeance because of you making me a monster. But I feel like I said it so fast that it was barely even able to be heard.
On the run, full vengeance. On the beast moves, you made me this monster. Gonna go and show you.
Made me into a monster. It's like it's a fine case of like line delivery, but it sounds so weird. Hold on.
I'm on the run, full vengeance. On the beast moves, you made me this monster. Gonna go.
Full vengeance, you made me turn to a beast for my monster is vengeance. Not entirely bad. Let's just hear for the rest.
Weapons, I'm on the run, moving too different, dynamic splitting, moving too different with the 7 massive weapons. I'm on the run, full vengeance. On the beast moves, you made me this monster. Gonna go and show you what it means to go and be a demon. Crown of someone strong, blood leaking. I'm on the knees for vengeance, no king of passion, straight decimation to the opposition. Straight multi-slaying, straight multi-blazing. I'm about to go ahead and show you what it means to make a motherfucker tongues. Cause I'm straight eating, straight running raw.
It's not the baddest correspondence shit, aka like a different form of like verse to chorus. It just wasn't the best structure I feel like to really make a better means. So I come in talking about how I'm ready to spaz, I'm ready to come off and blaze like Kendrick Lamar blazing, I'm ready to eviscerate, I'm ready to decimate, I'm ready to deal a whole new level of annihilation. No discriminating, straight eliminating, the same level of vibe. But the talk of what my purpose is now just vengeance. For you, turn me into a beast, you made me my monster. In this sense, being you made me my power. And then everything else kind of just sounds a little bit weird. Get that was going. Hold on, let me test that. Okay, yeah, so it's a whole different control since there. Okay, I did not realize that.
Show you what it means to make a motherfucker tongs, cause I'm straight running raw.
Yeah, that was a decent, like, unique line.
I'm gonna go and show you what it means to go and be a demon. Drowning someone's strong blood leaking. I'm on a means for vengeance, no king of passion, straight decimation to the opposition. Straight multi-slaying, straight multi-blazing. I'm about to go ahead and show you what it means to make a motherfucker tongs, cause I'm straight running raw.
Ain't bad, and it's just the rest of the song. You know, it's a little bit weird feeling of that, and I think the rest is just a mix of the beat and obviously saying, because that would be after the fact of me taking out, you know, Yekomeko.
But it's time, don't understand that in the end, as long as you breathe,
which is all for a mental. The final clash is in truth just the big samurai having a bunch of emotional and spiritual questioning and fighting a whole ignitement of the soul after untangling his entire life for the words of Yokomeko and him cognitively in spirit as well thinking of everything else. It's entirely all in his brain. His whole brain is poured with all these different emotions and taking of every aspect of his life and trying to find out the foundation of it through the unsettling words of his mother, who was mixed to be real through a creative mixed case turned into some form of different personality or form of spiritual attachment because of demonic force powers and magic, all this shit to be mixed talked about, you know what I'm saying, for the historical fantasy project. And in this sense, this man, the big samurai, is taking that all in. And this is the end all case, you know, speaking that kind of reflects the matter of his mind and all that. This is supposed to be his voice, so Yokomeko dissolve me in a technical rapper sense voice.
Story of the big samurai. Vengeance never to be not recognized. True path, enlightened, is the greatest path a man can ever have with the grace of his little brothers.
That's a cool finish. Alright. Beast, I think, had a cool start. The fine movement was shit. Cool moves in greater form. I believe that Beast just is some matter of like audibleness and mixed tie of lyrics. Didn't feel it was fulfilling. To be fair, it's a short fight. It's an end all thing. There's a big ass monologue that's like fucking 3 to 5 minutes, right, of a bunch of just pretty much expedition and big, you know, dialogue, right? And for y'all who have peeped Afro Samurai, the anime, Afro Samurai game, manga, or even movie, right? Even though only 3 of those actually shine light of justice and mix back his personality and informing. And one of them, he is just straight up dead, and there's nothing to take more from his personality, but by all layer of what could be brought upon and greater shown of the whole core theme in the story to definely and therapeutically conclude in a very intricate way was the fact of the matter is that by the end of the story, just like with the big samurai, he found that the person that he'd been trying to kill for his entire time in this entire crusade of vengeance, this long, heavy, self-destructive, self-indulgence to sanity, an entire porridge of bloodshed everywhere he goes, was entirely basically for nothing because he couldn't get the fulfillment of slaying a man that had stained him with so much violence, so much heavy deal of anger and indignation, to where by the time he gets to the throne of supposed God, the God has already fell by just pure oldness or some form of disease. So in this sense, right, in the matter for every dollar to be tied together with that, to build that up and counting for it, again, if you are aware of Afro Samurai and the core of his entire like storytelling was obvious, and talk about Afro Samurai on this channel, and I plan to later talk about it, especially with piracy and tier list. Shameless plug to eventually come whenever I get the time to get on that. Right? It's simply the fact of the matter is that in this sense, all that has been built up like in comparison with Afro Samurai game, Afro Samurai manga, TV show, aka anime, and as well the movie. So I'm just saying it's like that is where the grander in depth speaking to different shit is, where fundamentally it is a great setup after that. But again, looking at it from a random perspective, it's a little bit of a mixed thing. And even with all the lore I just dropped you, we're to talk about the big samurai, all of this case of pretty much, kind of mildly a form of, like recap and record for everything else, and even tying to my inspiration again, to rescind my statement, Afro Samurai being heavily graded to inspiration for this, even if I do differentiate from the shit, right? Like I have a different ending from Afro Samurai, man, and as well, different mixed take of things from the manga in a better way. I do take great sense of inspiration from the anime and the vision of the creator, right? Shout out to him, shout out to Samuel Jackson, just for voicing a peak busting character in Afro. But again, yeah, regardless if you've seen Afro Samurai anime, read the manga, played the game, watched the movie, like I said, it is all contributed to the means of making a interesting form of busting creation that follows the same aspect, the same taking of doing a great deal of foul in life to find nothing but yourself and a pretty much hellscape of the mind, and then course to Beast, where he awakens to fully realize that yeah, I am a monster, I am a demon, I'm a boy with no love and no heart, but I am not dispersed of humanity entirely. I can find something greater, but right now the greatest fulfillment I will is capitalizing on what I've been always the best at, is killing the fools that believe that I am some dumb, brutal, futile brute that has no gaze upon greater purpose. My purpose is simple and clear, to deliver my vengeance thoroughly so. Something like that. Now, the exact case of lines I said exactly in the record of, Takeda, okay, the big samurai, which is a little bit of the voice there. I don't know exactly how it was done, but, to suffice to conclude with the entire yap, you know what I'm saying? Beast, I would give probably all around a 6. Simple, just budget on average. It's okay. It works. But next we have Brutal Reality. Context for this is the big samurai going to the Tower of the Mortal Monsters, right? And going on his way to go ahead and be aware and at the same time wary of Yeko Mako and her entire presence. go ahead and suffice to say, that was not only cool, a busting beat and mixed case of, sound different instruments. Obviously, that is not in full by me. This is a kind of turnover beat from the main titles of a Planet of the Apes movie, right? This is an obvious for you guys that have heard. But the difference is obviously my own different adding of instrumental shit with drums, a little stick form of like beat press in the music, mixed case of like sound, and as well with the context given, this is the Big Samurai and his emotional distress, a level of like anxiety, fear, that he has come all this way to face a challenge like no other. As Master Takashi, his father, was the greatest swordsman in the Maya, greatest warrior of arguably Heathmore at the time, skilled like no other, of the most crazed regard, a living sage, greatest samurai, I guess you could say, greatest Japanese warrior of the Maya, and hailing distant to Japan over back in Asia, right? And Yeko Mako, greatest female swordsman, showed the fine, effortless skill to build a proficiently outbox and best Master Takashi right then and there. So there's a level of great fear impact, and I feel like the song illustrates that with giving fear, giving action press, giving interesting showcasing, and in cinematography form with representation of it from a sense of physical and mixed song theoretical standing. I think it is very stupendous, and I think you could definitely take this as being a short rep of that. And from this, we will course into this, and I feel like that is a beautiful execution, a cool, productive, cohesive way to compound together songs to demonstrate the all-around artistic representation. So again, I get that it's pretty much mixed in main titles, but again, the little differences I made, I would like to say that I would give this a suffice say 8.5 out of 10. I think the only problem is that it's not mixed bag, maybe longer, and it didn't have the best start, because if we just go to the start, there's a good minute of nothing, just building it up. Like, you hear a little bit of sounds, and it's supposed to slowly come in, and we do a little bit more. It just could have been a lot more instant. Like, as soon as it started, should have been boom. You know what I'm saying? It should have been simple as that. So Dane could be pushed to like a 9, but I don't want to give a 9 to any of my songs. I don't know if any of my songs really deserve a 9 off rip, though, I'm going to be honest, but it is what it is. But this is only the 5th song. Got a lot more to go. I already know this video is long. Anyway, Untamed.
I seek your revengeance from my father, not bloodshed, but every day becomes a pattern. And anytime I see someone trying to care about me, they try to go and do something, they get put in a box like it's karma. Moving through this life on an everlasting hellish order. Moving through this life like a hellish land in the sorrow. Goes through my veins like no other. Feeling left alone in the ditch with my own fruition. Moving through like a pillar of vengeance. Straight sword, full punish tips. Hell spawn minds moving through the scene. Straight back and forth energy. Straight crash out on the scene. I move different, straight predator, hunger. Move in this world like a straight killer. No compassion, no sympathy to my enemies. Full blast on the opposition on the scene. Feeling left alone in the ditch with my own fruition. Moving through like a pillar of vengeance. Straight sword, full punish tips. Hell spawn minds moving through the scene. Straight black and force energy. Straight crash out on the scene. I move different, straight predator, hunger. Move in this world like a straight killer. No compassion.
Sounds like I said like a mix of Frank Killer or like Straight Killer. And I feel like I said straight, and again, sometimes I'm gonna be the best to represent this shit, so that's why I'm not using them as an obvious, like I said before. Like, again, no repetition. I'm not trying to pull back and like second guess or overthink the thing and accounting for what this is, but I'm just saying like a lot of niggas will not listen to that. So I'm just saying, from what I hear and from recollection, the greatest form, right, of recording this shit last year, like shit, I would say, right, and obviously May 2024, because I was like, this is like a year old, this 11 months ago, dang near is, but like literally, like July past, basically is, but still, like, the form of like what I said is like a straight killer, but if I meant Frank Killer, obviously it means like Frank Castle. In case you guys don't know the simulation, aka the Punisher.
Hunger, moving this world like a straight killer. No compassion, no sympathy to my enemies. Full blast on the opposition on the scene. Vengeance is better than sex and a ordering mindset. Moving different like a soul. Hey, of killer violence, killer instinct. Move like a wounded warrior. Wounded lioness order. Straight death stone to my opposition. Fuck with me, going for the true death on the scene. Grand Ripper teams, move different with the 7 weapons. Kill your ass with a pitch for on a hood that's more ass for a weapon. Moving different, 20 combinations like I'm coming to see. Moving different, going tag a nigga on the scene. Straight stick, thug, straight rock on the means.
I ain't gonna lie. Even as the maker of this shit is kind of garbage, my nigga. I ain't even gonna lie. Listen, I think the beat is cool, but obviously this is hailing from Drake, right? It's obvious from the description. Drake 0 to 100 / the Ketchup instrumental. I mean, I could probably make something with the Ketchup song, not 0 to 100. I feel like I kind of like disrespected the beat, and I'm not gonna say sorry to Drake, but sorry to whoever made the beat because you know he didn't. But with that being said, it's the fact of the matter is that I feel like the lyrics had a little decent touch, but it didn't really kind of get together in a greater overarching form. And I did to a level of freestyle this shit isn't obvious. I didn't write this shit down. I think that's the biggest problem because I thought I was so in tune with the character I could say whatever, and I just thought it was fine for the time that I, uploaded. But I'm gonna be honest, this shit was not the best put together. Name is cool, but all around conclusion of it is not the best. I give it a 4 out of having a little bit more deeper shit. Don't worry about that, right? In case, being low percentage. But, yeah, it's like as simple as that. And it's not the best to find making this shit all around. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, it's not a really good song. Let's see the Big Man Spear can not only redeem that shit, but as well do something.
Track. About to make them niggas miss themselves in fear of a reckoning of a war of the Grim Reaper. Popping off to the finish, straight up to the opposition.
Some beat plus this makes it a fight scene. It's supposed to be. I don't know if this makes it fighting in the case of the Big Samurai's surrogate older brother, in the sense of, what was his name? You had Mishi, and I'm pretty sure how his name makes different, like, docs, but, like, he was Otokiri. I forgot his name. Regardless, one of the case of the, antagonist of the story, his surrogate older brother. That's like his case of Gino to Akuma from Afro Samurai. Again, if you haven't peeked Afro Samurai anime, read the manga, play the game, watch the movie. He's a person that suffers in the same way that Afro has, and Afro made that happen to him. And the same goes for Makes Back the Big Samurai, and the Sudokiri figure comes out after the Big Samurai, blah blah. Especially with, Afro Samurai anime. Best rep of the character in my opinion, but I'm gonna get off topic. The beat makes up. This is by one person, right? And I do know a little bit of difference, a different tangle with it, right? The Wu-Tang Clan style instrumental is very cool and busting. I do like how it's put together. For the beat and a little bit of like the talk and kind of like decent matter of like interesting kind of difference it makes, it really is just simply a beat play. I would give it reasonably because I think it's a cool thing. a 9, but not really because it's my own shit. Really, it's because it's playing off somebody else's shit, which I don't feel necessarily bad about because I make it clear it's not mine. I show it. I'm not plagiarizing the stuff, and I never say that all this is mine. If there is any beats that is not mine, because I only technically have one true real beat mix difference, and that is, I would say, from recollection, all the way down here to Real Deal Hatfield. I made my own beat, yes, off of actually a already known mix established beat to instrumental, but I made a unique one off of my own creativity, off my dome. That is it. But I would never credit myself as really making that beat because of somebody else. You can make a beat based off of another beat, based off of someone else. Rappers do it all the time, and they consider that to be their own beat. But what I'm saying is that it's still at core of that. And even those rappers credit those other people. Like, I can give examples, right? But I'm just saying it's like that's just like the difference. But here we have Mako first Master Takashi, which is just a slow, more ramped up, kind of very bubbling, action-packed theme that's akin to the fight between Roku Taro, the father of Afro Samurai, versus Justice the Gunslinger. So yeah. The beat difference, like the build up, you know what I'm saying? From one more action packed, set in stone, credit of like coursing to the end of Master Takashi, because maybe it was about winning this. But it's a very defined battle with kind of a second round essence to it. Still want to do some like fast pace. That's a beautiful flow. Giving that a like. I feel like it deserves that. That right there was fire. That was some fuego. That was some gas. That was some nothing but beautiful. Fine touch. Sizzling. Nothing but flame, my nigga. I believe studiously, that's even the right case of words, studiously. I think studiously is the word. Whatever the case. Like, in a very big way, that was a big change in quality, and this is the 8th song. I think that was the defined case of mix of not only a already established song, a song that I already have made different mix of different, change and beat to. Fortunately, not sure you guys the beat. Obviously, I've said, the beat comparison being known, but this was very profoundly done, and I do think this is a showcase and me showing great creative mix on making something of a defined quality. I feel like a nigga could rap over this and give a great case of feel to it, but the fact that it's just a song that through music, which has perfect timing, right? 1:50, beautiful piece, right? If you guys want an extended version of this, I will gladly do that. But with that being said, I wanted to say that I think the fact that it plays within a fight scene and the music illustrates the tension, a very bussin' duel between two great A swordsmen. Wielder of the number 1 Muramasa and the wielder of the 2nd Muramasa. Greatest duel the Maya arguably will ever have to show. Peak shit, bussin', great art. Now, I think the song does a great deal of that. I think it was done very definedly and goodly, but I feel like might kind of be a little bit off impression to say the least, because by the end of this, to recount from first starting is a great battle for him. Then that's when I, as Yokomeko, and Master Takashi, who was played by my ex-friend Jensen, I won't talk about that here, right, played Master Takashi, the father of this man, the big samurai, right? And they were doing for a great deal. Then, of course, to technical second round from that, we have a great case of battle there. We have a little standoff mixture, and by the time that I set up the killing blow and I get into the killing setup of one strike to the leg, split to the body, turn in a great ace split and decapitation, chop clean off the bone, sawed, deli splice, nigga. That is when the song professionally cuts, and suffice to say, sets a whole different means of tone, and we pop back into the rival Yokomeko, aka Yokomeko's theme. Right, so yeah, simple as that. But I think with that being said, first sense of being my own unique, independent, individual thing, reasonably gets a 9. I think it's a perfect beat. I think it's busting. I think it's banger for a fight. I think anyone could use it. Anyone could use it and run miles with it. I think it's busting. I think it's good. I'm dang near close to giving it a 10 out of 10. I just feel like it may be like cut a little bit off-putting. It is just a beat, but I don't think anyone can deny that this is a fine beat. It's not a peak grade A beat, but I think it's a good beat. I think it's worthy of a 9. Maybe I could kind of humble and say it's an 8, but I think that's worthy of a 9. We're 8 songs in, so yeah. Anyway, number 9, which I'm gonna say this is a mix of that features Mints, but as well Running, right? And it's called Sacrifice of Family / Real Deal Half Fill remixed with Running, right? The song, details what that is. You see the song here. Shout out to Rude Will Go Listen. But I have my own different mixtures. We're going to just listen to it entirely. Yeah. This is in the fight of Big Sim first case of his master, aka surrogate father figure, right? After the death of Master Takashi, and not being Sensei, that's his name. Something in the background with family, by the way, because you guys wouldn't about that. For though it is just Running, and in the fight sense, I think it is very defined, where details and represents all the different emotion, right? And cut between this man, the big samurai, telling the story to Soji, unknowing of her being Tali Soji into the famed knight. I think is where the difference is.
busting all the stress, asthma on my chest, running out of breath. They want my name, made up off the bone, brush the dirt up all day. Going hard, hit them where it hurts, kill them softly. Bone stress, trying to clear my mind, even smokeless, hopelessness. But I'm in this shit, full-fledged, all reckless. Coming for your neck, no strap though. Running this shit, both legs, bro. Word around town, and they coming for my head though. Funny thing about it, they don't know what's in my head though. Schizo, maniac, finna go klepto. So hands on, it's gonna hard for me to let go. My ego in the flavor. With a slow leak, screaming at the world till she prank up. Two middle fingers to you one time, there we go.
See a button cut into the case of Real Deal Half Fill remix, right? And the fight goes on for a decent great deal. It's like 5 to 6 rounds, and because it's part of a TV show, technically in this sense, it's cut between multiple different rounds.
I stand like an oak tree, best in all nowhere like a champion. Only feel said quick seas and passionate roller fieldies, rolling with the kiss of medication, arms and border hands, moving like I'm Gora with the speed. Muhammad Ali full quick scene, full sheet, moving with the self fight till killer teams, moving with the domination, home new means, battling all the graceful and depths, and I'm perfect, girl, ready for death. Standing tall in the face of death, which is true warrior, encased in the breast. And again, standing tall, even while in the case of man, face of 1,000 deaths. 1,000 deaths can live for a warrior, but 1,000 laughs can move forward when it case of death for the liar. A nightmare I ain't with her, moving like Kyrie with a key spin saber. I move like a Sith Lord mixed with a Jedi code of honor, with a vengeance, one full stronger, moving like a nightmare too all around me. I move on the path for the more to my side. Great givings for all that came for me, came around me, yes.
I want to stop and say that I think everything I say within the Real That Have Feel part of the song, which for the record, case Real That Have Feel sound like a very like weird title. That's kind of a little bit of the point. Real Deal Have Feel, right, is supposed to be a mixed connotation talk of real deal being something obviously truthful, very honest and upfront, and the half feel part, so that's my phone, being real deal, half feel, being true, honest up front, and half feel of something. As in this sense, insinuating the big samurai, the main character, is the full real deal, but half feel, because he revels in the instinct of killer, but as well dabbles in little traits of humanity. His iconic saying like Afro Samurai, famous from the anime. It's not personal. It's just revenge. Right? Which is personal, but it's not personal to them. His vengeance is what drives him. That's his feel. That's his motive. Right? So, yeah. That is the big, clear case of like difference. I do like Real Dad Feel, even if like some mix of the lyrics kind of feels a little bit weird, but I think it makes it running with the end, right, and all around feel that I would say is very bussin', right? But as a little like kind of a mix of just being like I pop in my music. It's not bad, not the most peak, and I might greater explain this when we actually get to the original Road That I Feel, because obviously this is the remix. That is his iconic line to the case of not only Mixed Bag, his mentor, circuit father figure, Master Sensei, after slaying him, but just only out loud as being the second Muramasa Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Because it's obviously after getting killed him. But yeah, like I think all around the song is reasonable, good 9. But it's big carried by the fact that it's someone else's music. Granted, my own uniqueness tied with it, and I am uniquely mixing my music with them. But it very much feels like I just have someone else playing within it. So again, it's kind of carried. But I do think it's a cool, unique mix. And if someone just saw this song and heard all that, saw that, it would be a cool, unique mix thing. And again, I detailed the fact of what it is there. This isn't like no false advertisement. This isn't plagiarism. This isn't anything of that sort. It is of a unique quality, I would say, off of that. But in all around execution and feel, it's not necessarily not paid off. It's just not really anything of like a grand form. This isn't some AA great remix. This isn't something of a higher quality thing. This isn't mixing different versions of Running, because Running got like 3 to 4 different form of versions. It's really just Running for like, correct me if I'm wrong, 5 to even 6 minutes. I come in around this part, and then the rest is a little bit that. Because let's get it exactly. Hold on. Like it's a background like makes noise in the mix, waiting for my time to re-pop in with the lyrics in case it's not obvious, which a little bit is a problem to me. But I know that's just like a mix of also like background noise even then, because like I got like there's a greater deal of like air coming in from the AC, and as well just background fan way in the back. I'm hoping it's not too much of a problem. But still, we'll give it a like though. I just roll it up.
Compressing all the stress, asthma on my chest, running out of breath. They want my name, clean up out the home, brush the dirt up off me. Going hard, hit them where it hurts, kill them softly. Bone stress, trying to clean my mind.
There you go. It's about that. So no, not even 5. It almost seems like it. 4.5 minutes. 4 minutes and 30 something seconds, and then you have that, and then that goes. I know Real That feels like 2 minutes, maybe almost a half. And it goes like 5. Right, going forward, so almost seemed like 3 minutes, and the rest is that. Again, I still think it's good. I probably again would say that reasonably is like the same as Mako versus Master Takashi, and being good, but a lot more. I would probably give this dang near a 10, but it's not really deserving of a 10 in my opinion entirely. That's really it. If it was just a little bit better mixed, it wasn't so like flat, that is different. But I can't deny that it does sound good, right, and all that talk. But here we go, Big Woman. This is for the case of the Hitokiri antagonist of the character that is the executioner and enforcer of the clan of Sotogami, right? I forgot the case for her name. Played by my also ex-friend, Clips 101. think that is a cool enough thing. That is when the case of the iconic fight scene between the big samurai and this shorty happens, right? I don't know if she possibly was just called Executioner, unironically, being akin to the Marta of the series, right? She's the one that accidentally clapped this man, a big samurai, off of a ledge, and this man fell into water. But yeah, I wanted to go about saying that I think that was a fine from a music piece. Comes from an unknown rock band I don't know, but I have the sentimental great feeling that it is of some like rock band thing that just obviously has mixed lyrics tied to they should, but just is some random radical rock band. The case of the description showcases the exact instrumental tied to it is also produced by a mix, research of different case of music that is owned and mixed paired with like multiple different musicians. Would have to do a great deal of research to actually go about finding it like I have, but to suffice to say, what it is. Sorry for you. If we articulate, simply put, the case of that instrumental mixed music by that band was coming from the case of Share Factory in advance, with me hearing the song and then looking more deep research into it with Share Factory's music and different like copyright ties, right? And you'd have to go about finding the music individually there with their site and channel. So that is for anyone who wanted to go about knowing of that song. And so I just played a different kind of like mixture of advance with it and gave a little bit of different electric ring to it, where it in this sense kind of went a lot more fast paced. So the mixed kind of lyrical general take of it is a lot more fast A pace. It's obviously shorter, right? Minute 36. So what those differences or not, shout out to the band that made that case of song. I'll probably give it, in my personal takes, I'm not the biggest fan of just this rock whatever record of music. I think it fits defined with the case of the fight in question. So I give it an 8. Simple shit. But Wonder of Love. Let's see about this. Very busting beat. This type I feel like a slow late hours club type mood, and this song is just supposed to reckon the kind of like emotional mixed romantical feel between Soji and the big samurai, the time at the iconic blossom tree and the estate of Soji given to her by the clan of Surigami. With a little different like ring to it. This is a beat. That was my phone. I was trying to go about full articulating that. So we put, this is obviously already known beat. It's just in the matter for how this beat is. I give a little bit of difference to it with a very fast pace to it, right? That's the little bit of distinctness that I do with it. Beat should be here. Fuck, that was my bad. Have a struck at the point, but if you do want to know the beat, I can go give it to you guys by the case of description for this video, right? And that's what I'm most likely going to do, right? To fully pay not only respect to the people that I borrowed and took inspiration from in the beat sense, but I can also give it to you by comment section or my Discord at rpking3024, right? But not like literally at just, in reference to the name. I've said it multiple times on this channel. I'm hoping you guys know that. It is what it is, though. Now, for a great deal of that, obviously, was the lower mixed case as well. Explanation for how I did it. It really just sounds like a already mixed known beat. Obviously, I didn't make that beat entirely. So with that mixed case of like critique and face value look, it is lacking in greater shit. But the beat itself, I think is bussin'. I think it's a banger. I think it's dope. I think it gives a great taste of like a solid theme of some type of scene or solid feel of something, and definitely the most like very stereotypical romantic to sexual feeling beat that you could ever be, given in the matter for the talk of making a soundtrack or any form of it that has a beat already mixed sold. Correct me if I'm wrong. By the time of me, recording this, and tied as well with the fact that the beat is a great comprisement of a lot of unique factors and forms of shit, right? That not only demonstrate a great sense of like beat tied together with a soothing jam that you can get a great fondness for. It's easy to get hooked in. That's very like Bob. That's a great vibe is really what I'm trying to say. And I feel like reasonably from that, again, counted with the lore intake and everything that comes with it, and again the beats compound with a great sense of jointed, great feel, and here I would say gives reason for like it to be a reasonable 10 out of 10. I see no problems with it. There's nothing to take away. The only possible critique is the fact that it really is just someone else's beat playing for a matter of a different count of scene. And I think the title is beautiful because it sounds like a wonder of love, right? But yeah, now for Arrival Yokomeko and probably the shit that's gonna instantly incline being copyrighted, but it is what it is. So because a nigga not even of monetization, getting more likely close to it. So get them watch hours up, and again, if you're still watching, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Really would help me out. Regardless, though, niggas said Dark Souls for this, bro. That's crazy. But again, shout out to Max Richard, Path 5, parentheses Delta, or Visualizer, where the case. But yeah, this is Yokomeko's theme. And it's supposed to give the presence of a woman that not only is scary, is menacing, is the boogeyman, the greatest nightmare of the big samurai, a call to a terror like never seen before, the most skilled samurai of the Meyer Aftermath of Takashi. She is the unknown mother of Big Samurai, and as well is one demonic force, a woman that took on a curse to help her people in the time of the pre-cataclysm and different era of the Meyer and the Samurai, but is definitely, without a doubt, in almost every credibility way, one scary and tremendous warrior. And I really fuck with not only with Yokomeko and the foreign lore. I think her story is banger. One of the best form of cooking that For Honor has done with lore in a very good while. And I would say that every aspect of her, especially like in this hero design, is pretty peak. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. That being said, but I'm gonna let that play out. So Fantastic Four movie yesterday as well. P-Film. cool song. Put so to say. So let's to the end. 4 minutes 20 seconds. Usually here and there. No, because Bad Five is a good song. It's about to be slipping off each time. But yeah, I wanted to just say that, this is a cool song to go about using. I don't want to take the case of love of that kind of piece, right? And most niggas can know of the song that's being said. It's 92 views. I think it's worthy of being the single best arguable song on the Big Samurai soundtrack, because simply put, it is a known song, has a beautiful feel to it. Whoever sings in the background, shout out to them, just shout out to everybody coming with it. And the really only distinct thing I do is the end of it just being calling it something and being a very just scary spooks thing, and account for the big samurai's overarching big reaction to what happened. Whole reaction. Is it 11 out of 10? Fight. And just look at execution. Okay. Fine Ting, right? Obviously, I'm the biggest fan of this type of thing. It is taken from the use of another band. The only difference is obviously, iconically, just having on a faster pace. The pace is changed a little bit more, arguably smooth, and not as kind of just, I guess you could say, fluctuating in a very like hurricanes like speed. I feel like in this sense, because what I mean by this in greater sense is some different from a band rock music of this type, as I do like the all around theme of it, where it has this essence of kind of like dubstep or like Daft Punk, where it's like a mixture of different sounds. It's very like old school, but very moderation and beat compressment to where it comes together in different mixed tune and vibe, and the back to back burn it down, it's cool, it's busting. But what I basically mean is that it doesn't back to back persistently be on the very weird fling of different shit, and it doesn't overplay it, so stand as this is simply pretty much a minute song, minute and 3 seconds to be exact, and it works for that, because the entirety of the song, getting no offense to the band, shout out to them, shout out to Share Factory, and being able to borrow it and use it for this, but the greater creative like Ting to make this even happen and come to play, it does have a sentiment of just being a simple one and done thing. It is a random fight. The fight is short. It sets them into a different kind of like dialogue for a scenery perspective. I feel like it's beautifully done. I feel like this could just be a random from turn of events of like music to be used to demonstrate something, or be a short, decently fast paced course in the shit thing, right? That is cool and done right. And I just realized that it actually says here on the right, so that's a minute and 4 seconds, and that would be the entirety of it, but a little lesser thing, but officially was released as a minute and 3 seconds, and we'll see that's how we cross into the next thing. We'll get to that, Terror Split Part 2. But yeah, the finish on Fairy Monger, like I said, it courses fully into a very much heavy antic possibly thing, but it forms together in such a cool way. It's finally done. Its formal feel is not bad, and it's not out of like touch with the scenery that I give in question, and as well lore drop. I think it's fine fighting music, fine case of feel, fine delivery, very defined. It's all around core feel, and I just fuck with it. I don't have much more to say. Like, no case of overglaze or whatever the fuck. Again, it's just the last thing I guess I could say in greater sense is the fact that, again, how it come together. It's not like a frantic big horror gaze like from a song or something that really stands that much out. It's not a big, frantic hurricane, right? It's fine for what it is, and the pace is cool. So I would give it like probably like an 8.5. I think it's cool, or whatever. But here we have Terrence Split Part 2 with the obvious beat of the late great Excess Tentacion. That means, man. To a slower pace. It's an obvious. That's my mistakefulness on it.
Back to that split edge killing. Yeah. Split part 2, but you already know what it is. You know I'm on one when it comes to wasting opposition like a Cleon. From the Warriors, come over like a scorpion with invigoration. No compassion to the opposition. Straight baller, straight by force energy. Tears my weapon, kills my sport. The second one of my is Godsking weapon. And I will make it slow in no way. Straight with the combinations like I'm Ivan Drago. With the tan split, with the body in. You already know what I do. I'm straight on the move, straight terror. Straight pillar of vengeance, straight mighty. Straight on the punisher move. Straight by the back, straight body and folded. Phone niggas like an omelet. Straight body in. Straight pillar of madness. Fuck with me, get vanquished, get slayed, get slaughtered. Straight one of me, hey, I'm moving different. 2 kill. Kill from the build on the 4 mils. Moving different like I'm Lucy Liu with a chain your neck, with the square body in. Like a good tunnel with the split in. Straight roll with the really feel the scene. Moving like Delhi with the pound for pound combination. 6 piece no Popeyes. Still moving different. Fuck with me, look at me, his body, Straight body in, straight killing team. Straight moving with a hooded manner, efficiency, straight killing. Straight body in, straight Floyd, straight monkeys and another billion. Doing different, bone moves, with a tank body on the cruise. Cruising through, left and right, opposition. Fuck niggas, fuck me, of other room. Rolling on the cold meats. Straight me, a body in is the only thing that I see. I see that. Everywhere I go and I'm over here, laughing in the face of death in it, straight collecting, souls and things, different.
Okay, random just lyrics. It don't even sound constructive. That's one of the problems. I mean, like, and I'll pause so much that I can't even actually hear and comprehend what the fuck I'm saying to an extent. Like, at first it had a decent dabble in this shit. I feel like in the mix there was a decent form of speaking and take a shit. But I feel like at core, not as much as a 0 to 100 beat, but I just as well disrespected the beat. I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty disappointing. I just don't think it's good. I just don't. I think it's bad. Not as bad as that one, right? So I'm only tending just to give it a 5 because, again, I feel like the beginning was decently fine. So let me go all the way back to 0:21. Just like trying to best find the vibe for the start, but yeah, that's exactly the sport.
You know I'm on one
Holy shit.
opposition like a Cleon. From the Warriors, come over like a scorpion with invigoration. No compassion to the opposition. Straight baller, straight by force energy. Tears my weapon, kills my sport. The second one of my is Godsking weapon. And I will make it.
Okay, that start, that was fine. Referencing Cleon from the Warriors, 1979. Again, that was the start. Bummer slice as always. Nigga got a case of, the timing of shit strongly with the mixture. And the man does some decent creative representation of not only by lyrics, the vibe of the song, but as well do some great case of, different references and infer of like the tone and purpose within the scene is not too bad. It just doesn't really storm that sting through them.
Like I'm Ivan Drago.
Cool reference to Rocky Four.
You know what I do. I'm straight on the move, straight terror, straight pillar of vengeance, straight mighty.
Drago was a
Straight on the
menace.
punisher move, straight by the back, straight body and folded. Phone niggas like an omelet, straight body in, straight pillar of madness. Fuck with me, get vanquished, get slayed, get slaughtered. Straight one of me, hey, I'm moving different. 2 kill. Kill from the build on the 4 mils. Moving different like I'm Lucy Liu with a chain your neck, with the square body in. Like a good tunnel with the split in. Straight roll with the really feel the scene. Moving like Delhi with the pound.
In case it doesn't sound right, because a man's trying to rap super fast, and again, the lyrics and the tie of things is like fine. It's just how it concludes in a greater sense, which is a little bit of my problem. To greater and depthly speak, right? Because in case it's an obvious, lyrics kind of sound a little bit weird, and as well maybe what the fuck I just said, even though it's like mildly like fast paced speaking, but like not the backtrack in this case. It's like this full chorus, right? Simply put, in this sense, right? I in this mix is cool with the ties and rhymes and the full things that come with it. Is not bad. The thing is that in this case, how I say it is just a little bit mildly weird. So I said Pillar of Madness. I come back with other shit. Everything I said was straight peeling, right? Peeling meaning mixed speed or running through people to the point where I peel them like a peeler, like a skin. Because like I'm skinning niggas. I'm like Predator with it. I'm taking niggas whole flesh. You know what I'm saying? I'm repping through niggas like Jack the Ripper. I'm slaughtering niggas like a bear back in the fucking late 18th century, nigga. I'm a straight menace. Vile, brutal, demon time. I'm a whole new level of demolisher. Is the greatest case of like I feel like reckoning with the 6-piece to Popeye. It's not even a 6-piece at Popeye. So like, alright, but that even make no sense. But like that is again a joke. Should be a 6-piece. Nigga be hungry. What's up?
Straight killing team, straight moving with a whole different manner, efficiency, straight killing, straight body, straight Floyd, straight monkeys, and I'm not a billion, doing different, bone moves, with a tape body on the cruise, cruising through, left and right, opposition, fucking niggas, fuck me, of other food, boiling on them, cold meats, straight meat, of body.
That was barely audible. I couldn't tell you what that is, and I'm listening attentively.
Everywhere I go and I'm over here, laughing in the face of death in a straight collecting, souls and things, doing different, on the means of can split, body in, you already know, I'm so hate of vengeance, big guy samurai.
I'll say this, man. I think in the grandstand, I did not entirely disrespect the beat entirely before we listened, but I didn't really honor it as much. And again, rest in peace to Ashton Tashim, regardless of him mixed bag as a person, right? Not even trying to say him being like a heinous individual, right? But our famed real life Kid Boo made peak music and was gone too soon and too young for the possibility of greater change. And I just feel like, even though I would like to say with all respect and all reasonable critical thinking, no bias, I had decent flow and feel. It just did not finesse it really to the greatest form. I did do a great deal of cool chain connect. I made cool references. I did cool case representation of the tone, character, and being, but it didn't really style out like I wanted. I didn't style out to the same means, the same capability that I wanted. It wasn't that feel in the entirety. The entirety of it did not strike really gold the way I wanted. You know what I'm saying? So there's just a level of like mild, I don't know, a little presence, a little credit of like, I don't know, not really popping off the way I should have when I made such a, I feel like, not immaculate, but a fine dining, serviceable laying of like the platter. But the full meal kind of went plain. You know what I'm saying? The greater end, if this analogy makes sense. It could have just been all on greater productive in actual speak, but a fling of lines and kind of not just reading very fast off of paper. It was an obvious, and as well fast grade speaking in a very mixed sense of feel. So in conclusion, I would probably give Terran Split Part 2 a decent sense of like 5 point, dang near 6. It just didn't fully live up to the best sense. It is way greater than the case of the song I think is probably the worst in this entire case soundtrack, which in this case is, you know, Untamed, right? Just not good. 4 out of 10. No, bad. But Take Life Part 2. It's a build up of a beat. It's kind of a little bit mild, slow start.
For the pursuit of vengeance, it comes with a great deal of loss. To kill my opposition with no compassion, no sympathy, comes with a great deal of tragedy. But finally, I feel no danger, I feel no regret. Now it's just killing more and more. To get to the end all warrior, that saw everything right in front of me. No compassion to the enemy. Straight killing, deadly, bloodshed running through my veins. Killing more and more, feelings more powerful, more sinful. The kill for the best means of my means. A full vengeance on the scene. It has no personal attack, but now it feels more brutal rage. Feel like a red lantern on the game. For my vengeance against Mecca. Number one muscle wielder. Taking away my father's blade. Now we're a blade of none but sorrow and tragedy. With vengeance all in the means. It's unfortunate tied in the scene.
Okay, I think that was a very bussin' course, very defined verse and talk. That was beautiful. That was banger. And the whole time has went by beautifully. No stop, none but lyrics, you know what I'm saying, of interesting tie. Great sense of poetry, I would argue with this. Not no creative poetry akin to any actual, legendary standing rapper. None of the pillars of this genre of rap. But I think definitely in this instance that was nothing but defined, flavorful lyrics, course through entirely, no stoppage, and been listening to straight heat out the mouth. Right? That's banger. That's bussin'. That's good. Getting the fine case of beat with this being said. If I'm wrong, yeah, this is so right. This is a X Her type beat, 120 it's 1002 That was good. Now before we get into Dime Team, which is a very interesting song, right? I would say Take Life Part 2 is some occasions better than Take Life Part 1. Take Life Part 1 is the credits music for the Big Samurai soundtrack, so I have a lot to say in greater form, right? In a deeper form. But at the same time, a nigga literally forgot that I was going to say some great shit about Arrival Yeko Mako, right? Here's what I'll do if there's another song that can better take this in with not having greater memory, right? Or I will just eventually do it. Yeah, we're going to pop back, right? But just to finish on Take Life Part 2, I think Part 2 of, Take Life is a bussin' thing. It is a very deep philosophical, just speak, rhyme in unique form. A cool form of note deep dive without being so inflated, not long, to the point where it doesn't lay its mark. It's short, it's simple, under 2 minutes, 1 minute and 43 seconds. It's beautifully put together. It's not long-winded. It's not elongated. It's not long-winded in any case of the way, right? It's just defined, and its length, again, works without being too overly played. So I probably would say that is a song that I would actually give another 9. I think that was pretty fine. Only problem is it could be longer. I think I could do more. That's just a little bit too short. That's like some TikTok level length, and I don't like that. That's my only critique, but it's still good. I think it's very good. Now let me go back to Raul Yokomeko. Now we're not gonna listen to this shit again. No. I wanted to give some deeper lore take. So the reason why I use Path 5 is not just to use an iconic mixed known song or a song that fits the theme, right? I have my own plan for a mixed bag Yokomeko theme, right? When I got asked, because let me go behind the scenes production explanation with this, right? Where in this sense, how this came to it is that I didn't actually have an idea for a Yokomeko theme. I had something that would give off the essence for Yokomeko and her fight against Master Takashi, aka the iconic beat, right? Up here, the 8th song, right? This was in 12th, right? It was not my idea. I didn't even have an exact number count. I had a run around of ideas, but how I was going to put into order was all just by random because it's when I released them. I didn't release the soundtrack finished. I did that in a greater form because I'd rather everybody be able to listen to the songs by itself and not have people wait for mixed songs. And even then, like other case of people that made music, low form, established, YouTube rappers, whatever you want to call them, are just actual fame, established, ultimate, top tier, peak, bust and nothing but gas creational people, right? Release their songs back to back in rotation so everybody could take them in. Instant uploads like this. You know what I'm saying? I did not do that, and I wanted to savor a different expectation as well because I was still in the basement, in the kitchen, in the lab, experimenting, doing what I need to do to best forge and craft this music. And I think I did all around well, as again, the only bad song is Untamed. That shit absolutely garbage. Put that in a motherfucking trash can. At least everything else is actually listenable or creative, I would argue. So, Arrival Yokomeko was a random thing. I think it is a good, song with the case of this theme. But here's the thing. The guy I wanted to play original Yokomeko, who will not be named, did not only not play Yokomeko, but he said he made a song for Yokomeko. And I did not get told this, but was told to a co-actor in the matter for the case of not only makes impression in writing about another character being Sensei, with adding a little different ideas and mixed take of his character that I did not have originally intended, technically, but just kept, greater rep in the spirit of the character in a creative way, which is coming from my boy Gano, so shout out to him. That man is too busy touching grass, fucking hermit. Imagine going outside. Joke side note on the road. Like, he told me this. I don't know if this entire case is from his perspective, but I believe my boy, take care to leave it. He told me that this guy said that he didn't make this and that it was already from somebody else, but it was a different, unique form. Now, when I listened to it, it was through a different audio sample for a different case of sight. And it did not have Path 5 as that. He had it titled Yokomeko. It had none of that from what I remember. And I even have Discord chats that give link to that to tie with it. This dude, right, had this video, right, showcasing of the, theme. Not like in this same sense, right, but in the case of the audio play, he had obviously this video giving, I think, a minute and 20 or maybe 40 of what I have here. But when I went to go about releasing it, I saw something I didn't expect. He said in his own words that this was a unique, his own independent piece. And here's the thing. I don't got a problem if you give me a song that could work for something like this, because at the end of the day, I have multiple songs here that are deliberately not mine. I say it, it's shown in the description, and I make it clear. But the fact is that you should tell me beforehand so I can be prepared for copyright, so I can be prepared in case of legal stuff, because I don't want to use somebody else's music on accident and get fucked over. If you make it clear you're using someone else's stuff like I do, it's a lot more easy said. And it's also a way for me to try to implement things of creative difference, regardless of how little, middle, or big. You deliberately gave me someone else's music without telling me. And with that being said, when I first uploaded it, for the people that do actually remember that first upload, I got this unexpectedly. And I'm like, how? How? Why would I get this? But then I found out. And then I made a point about it. I tried to ask him and talk to him about it. This guy was mixed back online and off, not ever responding. He didn't decide it randomly months in advance after the fact. I don't even know that's exactly hyperbolic or not, but I feel like it decently is, because I was recording and in the fucking whole time doing a bunch of different shit with this, from not only creating the soundtrack, writing and tightening the script, actually recording, doing different production. I was in the recording booth like shit. I was on my directing. I was putting in work on this series. This nigga never showed up. I gave him a bunch of time. Because remember, The Big Samurai is a short series. From my exact recollection, it has 5 to 6 episodes. It is short, like Afro Samurai the anime. A limited time created series with 5 episodes of peak masterclass. Bussin' on that front. Big Samurai, decent, defined case of show. Very much saucy. But The point is that when you tell somebody they're going to make something of your original quality, it can be original as long as you say in advance that you're taking someone else's work and you're making unique difference off of it, regardless of that. At least you add something different. Because uniqueness, creativity, and the intricacy of something is a mixed complex subjectivity. But he deliberately just gave me a short little play of someone else's music and didn't tell me. And when I made it clear mixed messages that we need to talk about this and talk about your role as Echo Mako, because I wasn't going to fire him. I wasn't going to, just dip on the idea of him even being a part of the show. I wasn't going to disregard his stance in it. It's the fact of the matter is that this nigga didn't tell me that this was somebody else's music. So I felt a little bit of lied to and a little bit of betrayal, because now I got new form copyright that if I again knew that it was someone else's stuff, I would have just simply made my own shit with beats or a case of instrumental that best worked for it not to be copyrighted or do something different. But not only was this song good, the fact is that I was okay to use someone else's music. I just want to be told. But that was the greater problem. Again, I felt a little bit betrayed. I felt a little bit of dishonesty. I felt a little bit of fakeness, more or less, from the guy, because not only did he technically lie about this, he as well went out his way to never show up, never communicate, never even make time. And again, I wasn't just about to go about just, flaking of conversating with this dude just because of the fact. I wasn't heavy mad. I wasn't angry. I wasn't in any sense of the way, greatly pressed by the idea. It was just a partial, hey, yo, so what difference are you actually going to make? Because I'm trying to make a series here. It was about time. It was about production. It was about the point of view that, nigga, I'm trying to make a soundtrack fit with the production. By the time this shit drops, this has to be done. I'm on a time schedule. This nigga didn't respect that at all. He didn't show up. He didn't talk. He didn't communicate. He never talked in any detail. This nigga entirely flaked on me. He was a no-show. He was a no-go. Nigga didn't clock into work, basically. And so, because of that, and it being the longest, because this nigga plays a character that is literally only in 2 episodes. 2 episodes. Wasn't in the mood to go about, making a tired attempt of getting this dude after, the first mixed bag halftime. They didn't show up, and I decided by episode 4, if this nigga does not respond to my text or invite, I'm just not even going to talk to him. And he didn't. And because it's a short series, and it's very simple, and the series would take, about maybe, bare minimum, maybe, 7 to 8 weeks to fully finish, a.k.a. maybe great deal of a month, a nigga wasn't too much in absence and mixed worry. But the fact is, over 8 weeks, you don't respond, you don't talk, you make no attempt to have a conversation. It's not only dishonest, I would say disloyal and fake. And as well, it just gives nothing but a bad reputation, I would say, for you, because even though I'm not saying his name, because I'm not trying to air him out that much, because my only form of contact is a gamer tag, so I'm not trying to put him down, but the brother just moved weird, and you missed out on, I feel a great chance to play a character of this quality. He showcased decent visual, impression, because his Echo Mako was just as much of the same, most likely, as mine, because she has a simple design. But, obviously Echo Mako, in case the thing has more reddish mixed brown hair instead of this kind of orange, yellow, dragonfly S-ass colors, right? But he had a great sense of, aesthetic impression, great case of vocal impression, and again, he had a nice taste in music. But the fact that he never showed up, never came, never explained, never went out his way to greater talk and said one thing to a co-actor, right? Another person in the gym of the thing, another person in talk, is the problem that I have. That is my point, what is being said. That he did not go out his way to actually better communicate and talk about what it was. He basically fucked off to do whatever. I don't know if he was going through something. I don't know what it is. I don't wish nothing bad on him. I'm not trying to put him down, but it's a reasonable fact. You did not communicate at all and had the nerve to give me another form of somebody's art with no actual acknowledgement. Like I said, if anyone would ever give me for a musical project or sample, it doesn't have to be actually yours, but make it clear that it's not yours. Make it clear that I know what I'm getting myself into. Because I don't want to be in possible legal troubles, lose money, or do anything like that just because I don't know of it. And it is important for copyright, and obviously I still have it here, but that's because the damage has already been done. And not damage to where, like, oh, it's bad, but again, it works. I just wanted to know. I wanted communication. I wanted communication because of time. I wanted communication about being an actor. And again, he auditioned. I signed him on. He had a cool case of, voice and impression and reckoning that could make out, and the visuals. But nigga made no attempt at getting, in the mix of production. I waited a great deal of time in advance for this nigga to show up, and I had to pull back on my moves, delay some shit, because his ass wouldn't show up. Now again, iconically, the director/producer has to put on the big boy pants, the big boy shoes, and pop into the case of production himself more than he already is. And that's not a problem for me, because I'm passionate. I love this shit. I love Yoko Maker. I already made that clear. But don't have me waste fucking time and put you into something and your ass don't show up. That is why it's a problem. And unless, again, you have greater form of reasons, unless you got something greater going on, which, again, possibly does, then sure. But the fact that you just nonchalantly came back later on to tell me something is not only proof that a lot of people in RPs, a lot of people in different production, a lot of people just in life, you can't always trust. It's hard to depend on people. And that's why you got to always make contingency plans and be prepared to do shit yourself. And that's why I was prepared. Because I knew by episode 4 this nigga most likely was going to show up. So that's why I made that point. But yeah, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. And that's where I say I want to be more negative shit. I'm going to respond to a case of, text those, those possibly happen as well. Makes call. But next we have Dime Ting. And I'll greater explain after the thing is set in stone. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say there.
Baby boo, Jimmy Choo. Let me tell you what love I got for you. Put you in the best view, rock you around the city. Show you the city moves with the bustin' teams, bustin' views, with the good champagne and hotel rooms. Loving you every night comes with the mood. I know I got a lot of broken promises, but no, I'm just growing, not lying. I'm gonna hustle and get the best news for you. Trying to show a better faith for you. Trying to do better than the fake moves. Trying to have you see the king in me, better news. Trying to grind, trying to make a better play. Of a better form of hate. On the means of be better than the wrecking of the false memes. Now I started and lied to you one time. Just know that I'm gonna be better than I was. Trying to make a better form of haste for the minds of a better man, and the same for you. Never try to lie to my baby bro. Dime Ting, baby bro, Jimmy Choo. Let me show you the love I got for you. Put you in the best view. Trying to show you around the city though. Like I'm riding on niggas to my bay though. Ride or die, Dime Ting. Every time I make money, trying to get my shit, it's a blind thing. Know that you mean the most to me. Ain't no other girl come between. In my raffle teams, you were always there for me since the start. Since I was a little kid, always fucking bopping every night. About some dumb shit, about some anger. But you praise that for facing this. How hard to say. All the better means for me. I'm just trying to look for better means and grind with you every time I'm on the scene.
Okay. Got a lot of shit to mix bag say, but suffice to say, number one, love the beat. The beat hails from 21 Savage, Summer Walker, what is being said, a mixed talk, right? But as well was comprised with different mixture of Faith Evans, You Are My Joy, President Interlude, 2016 Remaster, crazy. 2016 was about to be 2 decades ago. I feel old as shit. I actually need to go and pick that song in the vision myself. But shout out to all of them, right? Faith Evans, Summer Walker, all that shit, right? Bust in case of beat, bust in case of instrumental. But my uniqueness with it is obviously of a slower mixed jam feel. I feel like my lyrics is cool, but my voice don't entirely definitely course through it every time. I feel like I was trying to be on this more slow jam, cool feel, trying to be on that cool cat voice, but I should have just simply better produced clean rap flow, or I should have just sung with it. But I didn't really know exactly what I was gonna do, and obviously I just went with this kind of like cool, chill cat rap. I would say that my lyrics are fine and able to be taken. The context of this song is an obvious after the events of, with Soji, this man, the big samurai, fighting with Soji against the clan of Surigami's small but decently big militia herd of niggas coming down upon their estate, whole ninja clan, whole ambush right after their beautiful time last night and early morning, little screw up of different emotions and eating as well, you know what I'm saying? This man, Big Samurai, learns of the identity of Soji as in true being an assassin of the clan of Surigami. That this is a trap, this is a setup, this is a way to maroon this motherfucker, right? And, he calls out for the fucking clan of Surigami, ready to fight, ready to scrap, ready to squabble up and all that, right? But in the mix of those emotions, he calmed himself from about to be ready to go about killing Soji because of her betraying him. But he, in truth, really did have a great hurl of emotions. And again, after setting up from a breakfast and great, emotional scrub feel, right, in that mix from, him setting up shit to, be scrumptious, this man had a whole new calling. And from that scene going on with the fight and other shit, that's the greater talk to be had. And the reason why I say that greater elaborate shit, in case it kind of seemed like, again, almost minor like shit, is because, again, I'm trying to set the tone. But because I didn't want to make another song that kind of flatline was that, because I didn't know how to make that into a thing, I made it into another form of song that greater illustrated something different. Where in this sense, with all that case of like lure, drop, setup, and all that shit, right? In this sense, and I'm still getting called, yo. I gotta know my mom actually need me for something was being said, because you keep calling me. My little brother out for right now. Hold on. I'm still gonna finish on what I have to say, right? But again, all that build up was from again the taking of like this man Big Samurai being conflicted about what he was going to do, how he was moving as a man for the past, now, and he's wanting to be better. That's what Dime Ting is talking about. And because of that, and again, the things that he's done for her, showing her love, helping her with her estate, being gentle, being kind, being modest, being selfless, human for the very first time in a while, and not moving around like this serial killer, basically, is mixed take of that, right? Because this man, the Big Samurai, was out here King Von and niggas, right? From that morning setup of not only beautifulness, consideration for the health and living of a surrogate other, with making her some Boston breakfast, a possibility from our memory. It's a case of like him setting up soup or mix of like noodles, right, as well with it, that makes tied to soup, but being a form of unique Japanese cuisine. I'm not about to get into all the specifics and different intricacies of that, but I'm just saying, like, he set up a Boston breakfast in mind, then course on with an emotional take of like wanting to say something more to her, but didn't. Soji revealed that after the battle of the clash of Origami and somebody like Soji being injured, this meant a Big Samurai patching her up. He wanted to say something to her, but he couldn't. Dime Ting played as he was moving on his journey to not only the case of the base of the clan of Surigami, of a great mountain top, and then same time ended with the talk of wanting to do more but really couldn't. That is in truth what this song is supposed to replicate. But obviously the lyrics don't tie to that, and the lyrics in its own right is trying to do more for a dime ting. The lyrics kind of do poke at that, but in hindsight with playing it, it kind of doesn't fit. And you could say arguably all of these songs, even with references to this shit, don't really fit, and not all of them are supposed to. And like other soundtracks of this sort, as this soundtrack mixed with the series, takes inspiration from Afro Samurai. Obviously, not every song's supposed to fit, but they're supposed to somewhat try to parody. So I think in that core sense, Dime Ting is good at, but not entirely good all around in reference. So that's where the difference is. So looking at it from two different sides, critically as always, by itself at face value, I would probably give it a 7 points into almost 8. I think it's good. I think it has fine lyrics, like talking about trying to be better than I was, trying to be better in the case of the minds of a better man in the scene for you, never trying to lie to my baby boo, something like that, right? And it was like case of, reference, and also like insinuation is in the case of the minds for a better scene for you, right? Is kind of in a like reference to the society, the culture that the Meyer is at the moment. But he as well is trying to fathom better sight, and again, not try to lie to her, say he's going to be something else and he's not, but not just about being unfaithful, just being a genuine better human for her. And that I think is somewhat of like emotional touch, and I feel like anyone can somewhat maybe relate to this, even if they're not obviously like a objective terrible person like the Big Samurai is. But yeah, suppose that. But anyway, moving on, Clan of Sotogami. Really like the name.
Without it. Trying to show what the big dogs do. Order and chaos, two opposites but equal. Living off the backs of the feeble. Bringing the unfortunate tragedy and message. Other real motherfucker on the scene. Really trying to make a message. Stepping off foot downs on any enemy. Fuck the opposition, straight black and force energy. Moving big dogs, wolf instinct. Killer on the scene, fuck with us and get switched to a motherfucker in the ditch. Switch on the motherfucking slick, boom click, moving different with the flintlock, moving with the gunpowder. Push speeds in the wood of any motherfucker talking sour. Clan sorta got me enemies of any opposition on the scene in the Maya. Including Big Samurai, he ain't got the skills like us, we got the play talent here with us on. Moving like hooping fuck our three, moving on a motherfucking scene of death stand on the means on. Moving different on the harder in case of killing stand. Fuck up fucks, you gon' be feeling tragedy on the mass that come against us. Multi-blood steam, war-bound instinct on the means. A man kills so many infernal trauma. If the trauma is killing, you gon' feel some true matter of somebody and missing on a killer stand. On a harder amount of means, working in the full killer blend.
A little bit of that same repetition of like harder for matter, case of matter. I know some people like joked and poke fun at that real life or online that I say that here and there, and it's just like a general saying. It's like a normal figment of speech, but I haven't said it as much. I feel like now, but I can't really catch that. But I feel like it's a decent feeling. Very vulgar, with that being said, and usually I'm not like that. I'm not full with the different black curse. Obviously, there's cursing, but that's very like deliberately just like very hateful. It's very ignorant, I guess you could say. But that's kind of the point. The Clan of Surigami are some wretched original goons, right? So I think that's fine.
With the multi-case sort of rim, big bang, multi-ray efficiency, feed and killer crop and piffle mirrors that come with it, unsensible slaughter. It comes with the territory when you making money off the territory,
It's fine. The beat is stupendous with that being said, but as well, it's just like the fact of the matter is that in this sense, it's cool in lyricism, but the lyricism, even if it's tied with a bunch of different shit, and it's cool, it references to a clan of the time, with the case of the Meyer. There's a level of it kind of just feeling over the place, but in a fun way. It's not over the place where it doesn't have structure, but it's all over the place where it's unorthodox. It's very whatever fling. And it's cool with that, but I think I probably would just give it like a reasonable 7, maybe 7.5 if I'm being generous. I just feel like that's the big problem. Could be longer, could do more, could have been the same thing, could have maybe pushed to 4 minutes, but I think it's a fine thing. 2 minutes and 8 seconds, it's cool thing, right? It's fine. And Clan Surtagami takes a mix of like 3 inspirations. It takes inspiration from the Black Dragons, right? AKA Kano's gang of niggas, his crew from Mortal Kombat. 2, from the Empty Seven, the antagonistic 7-man group of Afro Samurai. A lot of different form of his, in case depictions. And 3, unironically, the Straw Hats of Ghost of Tsushima. Just a little bit, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Thick life, crazy music.
Life of a painless road is not a guarantee. Quick when your pain falls more into spirit and non-physical. The monster inside exists in every woman, man, and child. But I believe it's a natural state of things. And more natural predators, kills and killers. Losing human spirit to push on, persevere. So let's take ourselves, God and loved ones, and taking the grace of the hands that got us. To put some more inside exists in every woman, man, and child. But I believe it's a natural state of things. And more natural predators, kills and killers. I believe it's a natural state of things. And more natural predators, kills and killers. Losing human spirit.
They're saying like heroes and killers, or is saying human and killers? Hold on.
State of things. And more natural predators, kills and killers. Losing human spirit to push on, persevere. So let's take ourselves, God and loved ones, and taking the grace of the hands that got us.
That's fun. Talking about heroes and killers, right? Bruising human spirit is a technical truth and a simulation to the mixed tale of cycles of violence and vengeance, and the fact that people try doing heroics, but at the same time, unfortunately, impact people in some bad ways. And then killers, obviously, producing harm. That's a big thing.
Pushing beyond the case of meta tragedy. The fortunate seeds of violence and craves murder and bad and terror that makes humans humans. Is the best thing about being human. The will to survive, the tragedy turn triumph. To move through the kiss of matter, fortunate sound of violence. The move through terror, make better means. Is the best way to move from tragedy. The sky's the limit on the path of finish.
There's obviously a case of iconic beats and bass instrumental of Sky's the Limit instrumental version with touch of the singing as well. As obvious for my difference. A little slower paced thing with it, obviously. Shout out to Biggie Smalls, RIP to him, and shout out to the person that made this different, comprised, unique form with the beat and its, original instrumental sample given by the Biggie Smalls channel to technically the case of, Bad Boy original records. Fuck Diddy. But in this sense, you know what I'm saying? Unique form with the singing as well, right? Shout out to whoever actually sings. But let's go and rerun that.
Without being crazy, the pushing beyond the case of meta tragedy. The fortunate seeds of violence and craves murder and bad and terror that makes humans humans. Is the best thing about being human. The will to survive, the tragedy turn triumph. To move through the kiss of matter, fortunate sound of violence. The move through terror, make better means. Is the best way to move from tragedy. The sky's the limit on the path of finish. painful, but it comes to eternity when you go through so much insanity. But the thing is that you can always push a be better. Shouldn't let yourself down, shouldn't take your life. Shouldn't cry to the point of down bad depression. Move for the better means a blessing. No more Smith and Wesson each other. No more vibes, no more craze. Means a false on a false pretense. I remember when it came time to go and guide myself from my darkness, from my anger. I had to take in for a second what I want to be, not just for myself but others. Never stop guessing what could be a better life and presence within your goals and dreams in the messing of different parts of life. Cause it's all about a better spark and better trial and error for the life that you call yourself in your best means in life.
I think that was finally I think the only problem is like the last little bit in this talk of like never stop guessing on what you could be is fine, and never stop messing because of the exact form lyrics of what you could make for the best self and means in life.
My darkness from my anger, I had to take in for a second what I want to be, not just for myself but others. Never stop guessing.
Little simulation for Big Samurai and me.
Within your goals and
There's a little bit of truth.
All different parts of life. Cause it's all about a better spark and better trial and error for the life that you call yourself in your best means in life.
It's not bad. Trial and error for what you call your best self in the means of life.
Some truth there. In the messing, all different parts of life. Cause it's all about a better spark and better trial and error for the life that you call yourself in your best means in life. Small is the realest nigga to ever do it.
Yeah, I think the lyrics is banging. I think my tone and voice and my all-around character of rap is cool. I think obviously the beat is immaculate, peak. I think that's close to maybe being one of a 10. I think a 9. I think the problem is just could have rapped on that secondary sing part, and it could have been dang near seemingly perfect. But I think that's beautiful credit. I think that was a good song. I think that is the first time we've really actually honoring the beat. I think I actually did good. I think if, can't really tell you, but if anyone around Biggie heard this song, they probably think, what the fuck is this? But they probably would respect the vision. I think I respected the vision of it. Because sky's the limit. Don't let no one ever tell you. Beyond the sky, they could conquer the very stars. Stars scheduled down, you heard? RP to Biggie, you know what up. But here we have Tears of a False Killer.
I think y'all would have really did one time for this one. Damn, Schwazi, I love it. Yeah. Kill a big kill, huh? That's what you live by, especially when you go through the unfortunate seeds of violence. In the country ruled by wars and merciless killers, rapists, thieves, pillagers of innocence. They call them men that comes with no hesitation. A murderer, a man who finds respect and passion. In her opposition, psychotic. And yeah, I'll do a crash shop, but what happens when you get built for the lash out? Built for the tragedy, built for the sodomy. I got a world with my criminals, like the kind of shit that got me. Move for this world like a rigger of BP, like we ain't go shooting with the multi-square, multi-killing, he abandoned to the mission. Come with the kids of territory. When you were on the board too, but I must have water. Ray Sage, Georgia Getty. It comes with all the fortune, it's a bad comes in play. A world that goes with the demons and honesty. Comes with the territory.
Alright, let's back up for a second. What I said in the point kind of sounds weird.
Comes with the kids of territory. When you were on the board too, but I must have water. Ray Sage, Georgia Getty.
It comes with all the fortunism. I do not think that's a word. Probably thought that was a word at that point. Decent slang, but I don't think that's a word. And fortunism. What I could be simulation is like the fortunism. It's not necessarily about fortunate, like where we stand, but the fortune, like the money or value that comes in play. So let's rehear that one more time. Hold on.
The kids of territory. When you were on the board too, but I must have water. Ray Sage, Georgia Getty. It comes with all the fortune, it's a bad comes in play. A world that goes with the demons and honesty. Comes with the territory. Kill or be killed. That's what's to live by, especially when you go for the unfortunate seeds of violence in the country. Ruled by wars and merciless killers, rapists, thieves, pillagers of innocence. They call men that could no hesitation, murderer. A man who finds pleasure in the opposition.
Yeah,
psychotic and
I love
all crash out. But what happens when you build for the lash out? When you put them up with construction in the right round. Move for the light, we're doing the same for negativity and positivity that we preach against and push with. But never actually have integrity, it's all a mix with it. Tears to a false killer.
So first of all, I want to say the lure drop in mixed context for this song is not only the fact that this song is supposed to be a mix homage and kind of like theoretical question of what truly makes a man, all these things, and as well what makes the byproduct, questioning what actually makes a man this. Are they this by default? Were they born as this? What forms a man to be a pillager of innocence, regardless if he's a rapist, thief, murderer, a man that breathes psychotic and as well, breathes in the disaster of a place like this. They breathe in filth and they full indulge in it, right? They nasty, disgusting, dreadful, putrid people. But it's also is played in a montage of the Big Samurai being somewhat of that, killing a bunch of people that were sold very valuable weapons, which is all of his weapons. This is the origin for how he got all his 7 master weapons: the Kamiari spear, the sickle, pitchfork, club, mallet, in his case, of iconic mixed different other blade, and as well saw. I think it's fine. The two blaring problems is mixing that ta-da-tee. It's a little bit weak. Better way of saying it comes with that ta-da-tee. You know what I'm saying? Or something of like, I don't know, mixed form, because I was really trying to sing it. The best way I can say singing territory is a little bit weird. Comes with a territory or a territory is weird mix. If it sound like proper form of it. Comes with a territory, this full territory, right? It's like two different mixes, like accent difference, but simply put, saying comes with the territory, it just don't sound as much good. I also think there's a level of like the beats maybe a little bit too loud. It doesn't come together. I really like the beat, and I thought in the fast pace would be better because it's very fast. It was obvious, but I think it's good. I think I'll probably give it an 8. Jules was a kind of 10, flaws and sins, instrumental, slower pace.
In the time of real good and sadness, a man moves through this mean world standing on business. Whole lot of anger and some me with it.
Too close to the mic.
People steady trying me, steady trying to slaughter me. Moving through a cycle of bloodshed and vengeance. Moving through insanity left and right. Going down a path of false pretense every night. I'm a civication upon the shit and straight killing. Moving through a river of blood left and right. For so common, warm, fool, mesmerizing every sight and mind. Killer like no other. Enduring every form of pain and vengeance. And unfortunate tragedy that comes with it. Making so many people fatherless, motherless, widowfield. Making so many demons devils. Making so many people like me. A big samurai for unfortunate means.
Alright, Mike, not only, like I just said, start a little bit too close. Lyrics is decently fine. Beat is cool. But I feel like the slowness of it don't really hit as jam-packed and bust and groove as, Flaws and Sins does. But I feel like it's just I feel like that's 6 worthy, in my opinion. Also could maybe longer. Caution with 7 weapons.
You already know how to move the classic. Back at 7 demons, Wish I stopped doing so many warm-ups. And in the mix, start using my opposition as pull-ups. I'll mess with that fake shit. Come around with some bullshit, get skipped up. Like we in the wars, get wasted. Moving different water over in case I'm out of blazing. Popping niggas left and right like balloons with the CQC, that brulette, petrifying,
Alright, start. Bust and beat. Shorty Wanna Be a Thug, 1996. Cool case instrument for the mix, Tupac, again, rest in peace. Feel like I didn't entirely dishonor the beat of Juice WRLD, but definitely didn't capitalize on it. Feel like I'm doing something decent with.
Foolish death, magnifying, killer time. To break a motherfucker line, rush come with so many kids, I'm out at killer bonds. Move different with a brutal finish. I move different like I'm Punisher with the killing. Move different, blazing with a demon time moving. Fire up in the real demon time with the killing. Moving like I'm Boom Man. Couching with 7 weapons with 2 arms with the full switch. Dynamic splitting. I'm moving different with a rifle and teaching with the kiss and metal cry moving. Like I'm shredded with the blitzing. Moving with the spear, moving with the katana, with the right, moving with the club, moving with the mallet, moving with the sickle. Chain connect master weapons. Moving with an order and matter, kiss and matter blaze with the killing brutality. Already know I'm rifle on the scene,
It's a little bit like more closer intake, but as well, it's just a little bit of that different like talk with it, and obviously nobody's very loud. But I think like the lyricism, the beat is flavorful, core feels cool, the lyrics is cool, but again a little bit of repetition and just not really sticking out too much.
Left and right, chain connect, bang for bang. I move different like I'm Victor Drago. With the hammer teams, with the border full flowing. Moving with the sluggish, moving different with a mindset. You already know when it comes to killing, I'm a pro. I'm an expert, move like Jason Brody though. I move with an order and matter demon fury. With the kiss and matter demon carry, Build like I'm Kingpin, tallest, biggest, moving different, bigger than the fucking only ogre. I move different like a true caution. With the Ashes rap, nigga, I know retribution is my thing. I move with over matter fury. I move different with the glory only being to the securing of the number 1 Muramasa. Ain't nigga get in my way, it's gonna be a fucking Morgan.
think I'll probably give like just a 7. I feel I could have rapped better on the end all beat. Repetition, even though it works, cause it sounds good, it could be a lot more authentic and unique. I don't know. Diversify a little bit more. If the guy's showing 7 weapons and we're saying something different than just saying that, right? But I think it's cool. I think it's solid. Next, you should go over. I call from this joke that I have from the but as well as the fight with Sohail
What is
versus
this shit over? Or is it so over? Let them niggas rock, let's find out.
This is a reformed, kind of slow, fast-paced, redone beat of Riley versus Milton. But here's some comments. Top 10 rappers, Eminem is just afraid of this. Man doesn't know it's a beat, lol. Eminem has been quite sensitive. That's crazy, so. But appreciate that from them. Easily 11 out of 10, 12 out of 10 even. Perfect beat. I think he's busting. Really gets you in that feel. There's definitely some jump up, get down. It's like time in the phone, like beat. There's some like basketball-esque beat. This is pure nothing but hood fineness, you know what I'm saying? Like no way, this is excellent. You know what I'm saying? Like this is peak, without a doubt. Now for Terrence Split Part 1.
Slash, bang for bang, pumping different like I was hurricanes. I rock with the killer instinct like I'm Orochi, and move different with the speed of chance. I got cut niggas so clean, call me Virgil, and move like a villain of different proportions. No compassion, no sympathy, a villain. A hero, fun, minutes of vengeance. Fuck with me, you gon' be made into a dinner. Fuck your bitch just twice ago and make the full sizzle. Full killer, ancient, full devilish things. Fuck with me, you gon' be moving different on the holding blood leaking things. I'm a killer with no case of matter, consideration. I take and split like I'm riding with a motor massa. Moving different with a holder in case of matter, killer high end. Moving with a holder in matter, full splitting tyrant. Terror moving on the scene like I'm a Viking. Moving different, stomping left and right, flying in. Moving like Kratos on the hunt for retribution. No man can deny me my vengeance. I'm cooking on the run, always on the fucking hunt. I can't split with a splitting edge, no front. I move different on the holder in case it matter high. Fuck with me, you gon' be feeling holding in case a nightmare on the side. Slash, bang for bang, popping different like I work at Canes. I rock with the killer instinct like Orochi, and move different with the speed of Jin Sakai. Cut niggas so clean, call me Virgil, and move like a villain of different proportions. No compassion, no sympathy, a villain, nah. I had a fucking minutes of vengeance. Fuck your bitch with the holder and matter full minutes. Moving with the full new splitting edge killing. The limit with the scissor ram. Walk around like an Oni of holder and matter. These proportions like I'm Boom Man,
First start off, The slaps was pretty low, a little bit faded. I think the lyrics is cool, chain connect. Repetition is way more ungodly here. Like that's a glaring problem. Just kind of saying the same matter of shit with not really distinctfulness, right? Even if again the argument could be said for other shit where I'm trying to do something a greater explore and unique feel. It's just kind of repetitive, like in the aspect that it doesn't really sting the same, and the lyrics don't sound that good to where it means something different. Don't get it twisted. If I was gonna pop off on a rhyme right now talking about fuck with me, you gon' see unleashment of a nightmare. Fuck with me, I'm gonna be burying motherfuckers like the Undertaker. Fuck with me, I'm about to be dominating like a Honu killer. And I'm about to be slaying like no other. Something like that. Just saying the same shit, it can sound good, it just isn't very unique. It's just the same shit like every few sentences. Again, it's very repetitive, it's very repeated, and it's tedious in that sense. That is just not very good. So that's an objective critique. I think the instrumental like beat is very bussin'. That's not even to be doubted. That's not even to be debated. It's very good. I think that the greater blame problem is just, even though I do mix it up every time I talk about, Terrence Split or me mixing up with the whole, a villain, nah, a hero, fuck nah, ha ha ha. It kind of just sounds a little bit weird, and like the mix, like audio compression, a little bit weird. We're gonna back up just a little bit more to hear like the final form. We've been talking the last 2 minutes and see what I have to really say.
Killing, then they may put the scissor and walk around like I only of holding and matter these proportions, like I'm Boom Man,
Boom Man reference to Avatar. Kind of like it works in its core where talk thing is now about to become a matter of play. Okay, so number one, very excited to get back on point. So let me put kind of like mix between it's alright to like mix matter of like it's a general above the general line of I, not in the credit of like average I, like the okay solid I. In this case, is to really make a differentiation. So you put, I think Terrence Split Part 1 is reasonably mixed better than Terrence Split Part 2. They're about the same with the record. I believe that Terrence Split 1 is better because of its length, but its execution, different lyrics is fine. It's just, it's repetitive, and it's, even if it like is cool and it's cool little nerdy references, it's just the same shit. It's not really flammable. It's very like low heat. This isn't moderately pacing into a new stances of heating flavor. It's just the same shit with nothing really of greater grasp of something, I feel like. So I'm kind of between like a 6.5 to 7, but I think I'm gonna give it like a 6.5. Yeah, 6.5. Like it's a I thing, say at least. But now we have one wifey, the original. It's reasonable to be my favorite song in a personal sense. To me, the objective best is mixed between, if you talk about an all-around style, between Rival Yoko Mako, this.
Oh baby, I've always loved you so dearly. Always shake your arms around me. Feel your spirit tucked deep inside me. When I see you move, it made me turn to a whole different man. Love is so mesmerizing and so cold at the same time. But when I'm with you, baby girl, I see the warmth in your eyes. Making love into the sunrise. Let me hold you and drop this loving inside. When I feel you close to me, there ain't no difference to recognize. It's just loving you.
Baby girl, let me feel you. My wifey, my lady. My sweet Jimmy Time Ting. Let me feel you, baby. Alright, here's an obvious. I really fuck with the song. I think my lyrics are pretty beautiful. I could tell you exactly from start to finish what the lyrics are. I could re-say them. I could re-sing them. Nigga, I could even rap them. This is the most passionate pull of heart and love thing because I feel deeply about this about someone. I felt every essence of what kind of in characterization, artistic depiction, and representation and theme that the big samurai was moving with, and as well was so beautifully put together that it's like none other, man. Love it. Feel like it's beautiful. I'm not gonna say it's entirely perfect because the only problem is arguable language, what my remaster is trying to do, but my remaster kind of failed on some of those aspects. So I think the original is better. I think it's gonna be core bussin'. I think it is then but cool shit. And I don't want to be a repetition, but like I said all the way back then about manly insanity, and I just want to finish again about the fact of the matter that again the mix tie between the best is between Sacrifice of Family such Real Dev Have Phil remix with Running, Rival Yoko Mako, and mix of Shagover, right? But I would probably say the Sacrifice one is the best. It's the longest one. It's the most busting thing. I think it's the most good as a whole arc in front, right? But simply put, to say, right, is One Wifey has a great deal of core mix. I already talked about the theme, about how it is a thing of a very unique emotional and spiritual touch where it's about a man wanting to be with his most fame, light in his life like no other. A man trying to be with his beloved, his wifey, childhood sweetheart, I guess you could say, someone of a grandstand, most loved thing, and nothing else in the matter of night matters. Talking about other lovely things, the most mixed record of rhythm and blues, pure R&B. This feels like something that you would hear being classic. Obviously with auto-tune or deeper touching of like a different voice, or my voice can really complement the beautiful concept, the core creation. I think it might be a greater capability, right? And we're gonna rehear it not only because I like it, but as well just for it to full play and try my best not to sing. Try not to sing challenge. Or remember when niggas used to do that, or like try not to rap type shit, right? The type of songs where as soon as you hear it, bro, you turn into a whole different nigga. Get the NYC cap, nigga just grows braids like the fucking Predator and just be ready to go ahead and just do whatever. And not even like normal form of like dreadlocks or different twists. I'm talking like whole braid cornrows, kin to Ludacris, Riley from fucking the Boondocks, all that shit. But yeah, like peak ting. I feel like the music mixed at the same time, the beat in question is very dope, right? Clean. There was a joke. They made me laugh in the mixed talk of this, but as well others, where it's fact of the matter like some of these songs sound like I'm about to fucking record porn with the theme, and that's not what I was doing, even though obviously this is the background music for a sex scene. Like any mixed R&B song, you could say this type of shit where a nigga get like fucking made from. But yeah, let's go ahead and replay it. So they think just off like face value, I think it is not again the best, but if one more peaker songs, one of the greater songs, like the title, like I was put, probably give it an 8.
Oh baby, I've always loved you so dearly. Always cherish your arms around me. Feel your spirit tucked deep inside me. When I see you move, it made me turn to a whole different man. Love is so mesmerizing and so cold at the same time. But when I'm with you, baby girl, I see the warmth in your eyes. Making love into the sunrise. Let me hold you and drop this loving inside. When I feel you close to me, there ain't no difference to recognize. It's just loving you. Baby girl, let me feel you. My wifey, my lady. My dear sweet Jimmy time fiend. Let me see you, baby.
To me, that's busting. I think that's solid 8 out of 10. Only problems could be longer, could be more definitely informative, but I think it's simple, to the point, fine, and mixed argument. Lyricism is not a problem here, but my lyrics mixed with my voice, you better contemplate it upon the beat. But I think it is exquisitely performed and beautiful in all around grand touch. Cool. So how did that 10 flats for a rating? I might seem biased, but again, I gave a reasonable critiques there. I feel like that's sensible.
When it's dawn, I look into the sky, wondering about life and unraveling my mistakes. Takes in fortune and pain that I rock and be blazing like no other man. Because the only thing that I have in life is unfortunate false pretense every night. But when I think back to the calm means, I think about a past beautiful thing. The baby that I love so much I could never have, because of the demons that are rolling in the path. They go after the same vengeance and the same qualm of unfortunate violence and staying by the wrong. But baby, you all that I need. If I gotta go for 1,000 slang, you already know where I be. You not a misdecision, real deal, full kill. Real is most powerful, comes with fear and unfortunate love in the same time for the tearing and splitting of an unfortunate wrong killing. But it comes with the territory when you move through life like a villain. In the words of great Machiavelli, why be loved when there's not a world with true love? What the fuck? In the same time, have fear and power running through slugs of multiple functional walls and the curves of an actual man on a burden like a horse, moving through the world with no care, no qualm, makes you really have a sore mind in the song.
Indeed. So this is a simulation of the talk in the form of perspective in the matter of the slow but same time very much kind of somewhat in the most unironic sense, but very like unseeming sentiment for kind of despair that it would be to be forever on a chase of pretty much past transgressions in the world that is moving so fast, in a time where you are this big, lonely, isolated, deserted of family, deserted of love, deserted of any sense of soul. A man stained by violence, insanity, and rage for his pride and his hatred of a person that took everything in front of him when he was just a boy, burned so strong that it pours so much bloodshed. What really is the fuck to give is kind of what the song is, and there's an argument that the title could be more of that the fuck to give, right? But I think the fuck is better. Plus, also, I don't want like my title to get fucking blacklisted because me just putting the fuck, right? Got already like tagged for being like, you know, inappropriate, and no one can watch this video unless they actually have an account, which is kind of fucked. But you know, there's an argument that any of my songs, you could say it makes bad night for a child to watch, and let's say my content the same generally, but still.
Purchase your tracks today.
Cool Boston Beats, always. Now, with that being said, I think the fuck is fine in its own wrong core, like theme and feel, right? And another thing, one wifey in comparison, you could say, is at face value, I think it has cool lyricism, voice tone, a stupendous beat. But like with Insanity, face value, even like a person just didn't know like what ever to be, you know, took him from this stuff. Excuse me, that's my throat. Pause again. But the whole time when I'm drinking a sip of water, I'm gonna do that in a minute. But again, not knowing whatever or like knowing like what to even like, you know, say, I guess, right, is a similar thing about the song or not, doesn't change it. It's just again my example of being, because like person would know like whatever, you know, to be said or whatever like thing to possibly have context for. I think it's fine. I just feel like without that lore drop, it kind of pulls back in some aspects. So I think I would probably give it another 7. I think it's fine. I just feel like maybe length, better touch to that, even though it does decent. And it should probably like a 7.5 actually. I think that's a fine rating. That's really much it. With that monster.
Sadness, a cold world brewing with unfortunism. It's all come back to me. Terror, whipping for all my two to gain vengeance. Where I have no care for the purpose, just the path. I simple inflict pain in this world. That's how I grew. That's how the world moves. That's how the Maya do. In every fortunate time that come in play, I see if there's an after effect, no care and slate. I move with the world of being on my shoulders. When it comes down to the case, a matter of the burden. The slate of number 1 at the top takes away the freedom and hope and order that comes in place, yeah. But in the grandstand comes with the territy of a man going through so much tragedy. A world so much side of me, no smile, no care. And the war that brings back all the keys of matter fear. A world with rapists, killers, and robbers, and killers, and pillars of innocence, and pillages of happiness. With inches and bloodshed all around me. No care and passion, no sense of matter of purpose found me. I don't see it. Go up a better path, go up a better record. Don't let vengeance be in your life. But when it comes down to the tribulation of power, a better means a better sense of matter of life and no sour. In the place and mix of a better mixing matter of rifle team with a form of samurai means.
I think it is cool. It's don't really
untimely faith, untimely haste, untimely death. It comes within the race to get to the best means. No matter the situation, no matter the lane, no matter the case. And it doesn't matter for what I'm breathing fire for, what I'm breathing in the mix of death for. I breathe around this plague and filthy form life in the case matter for the greater timing of a better form of calling, for the better perfection of a life that I can never really feel guessing. In this life I gotta do what I gotta do, no matter north, west, east, south, I'm on the move.
Listen, it's fine. It doesn't really sound the most correctly put. Not necessarily in like literacy, even though there's some aspects where it's kind of mixed fling of whatever, even if I'm trying to call it something different. And this song, obviously by the manner of, the title and the case for the tone, is a somewhat description of the big samurai, the feeling he has, him being a symbolization of the madness, crazed lust for violence, greed, power, and as well pride of most men in this world that would always do different forms of folly exchange to get to different configuration of power, right? To be fighting a, exhaustible lore, pool of battles for no reason, facing down a insignificant, puny, minute sense of staying in life to kind of like rebuild something upon with nothing really to gain, in this sense being a Muramasa, different extremes of, different fortune, different aspects of collateral difference in life, in this sense, to be able to say that you have really dragged yourself through rags to get to riches, to get to bitches, whatever you see as being a form of compensation for hellish hate, will really only stamp you more and more as the thing that you hate. Simply put, the more and more you hate someone, the more and more you can become like them. There is no perfection in shit that has no grasp of dignity. There's no integrity in violence. There's no purpose in this. No man, no boy becomes better through this cruelty that he stacks upon a world that is already insufferable with it. He has an insatiable hunger for violence. He has a lust and an unfortunate desolation of his soul, going more and more onwards with this self-destructive crusade in a war against himself, in every case a person on a mission for the same case of means, aka the song title and what is kind of mentioned, who that monster, is entirely dictated on the aspect of nature versus nurture, and that is founded in every aspect of what this man, the big samurai, is. He had all the potential to be different, but he couldn't let go of that unfortunate stain on his soul. There was some deep rhymes I just said. I feel like that was very therapeutic and in depth, to say the least. But again, that's kind of just where that comes from. I would say even with that, it is like decently sound. I probably would give it a almost 8. It's pretty fine. I just feel like it's a greater ship. The last one wasn't the best take thing, and the beat could have been more faster and interesting, even though I do like it. Real Dead Half Fill, we're almost done.
I stand like a oak tree. Basing all in the way like a champion. Only feel said quick seeds. And passionate roller fieldies. Rolling with the kiss of couch and arms in both hands. Moving like I'm Gordor with the speed. Muhammad Ali full quick seed, full sheet. Moving with the self fight till killer teams. Moving with the domination. Home moon means violin on the graceful and depths. And I'm perfect that I'm ready to death.
Now that line that I didn't even like see here on the case of like I'm Beffing on the from a death. Beffing is a form of slang. Not look like okay, excuse me there, jeez. Okay, let me go and get a sip of water before I fully continue to the biggest sense. I was trying to full say precisely that Beffing is not like betting. Beffing is pretty much being like I'm calling or hurting on every death because so hey, take souls, the big samurai use soul magic, etc. Just make sure I'm using that exactly right because I know it's a little bit of a weird thing. So go and look it up. What is beffing in slang mean? Type in fast fingers. There's beefing. There's another from like Beffing, not beef. And Beffing. That's a different thing. There's a form of like Beffing. I saw something different. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that will better help because I think I'm meaning beefing. I guess this from the word here, but they think it's beefing. Because that's not what I meant. Okay, I must saw something different. I heard something different. But that's what my intention of that means. Beffing. Because Beth is a name.
Standing tall in the face of death, he's a true warrior, encased in the breast. And again, standing tall, even while in the case of face of 1,000 deaths. 1,000 deaths can live for a warrior, but 1,000 laughs can move forward. When the case of death for the liar, a nightmare I ain't with her. Moving like Kyrie with a kid spin saber. I move like a Sith Lord mixed with a Jedi code of honor. With a vengeance, one full stronger. Moving like a nightmare, two all around me. I move on the path for the more to my side. Ready to get vengeance for all that came for me, came around me, yes.
It's solid, just with a good 7. Final song, The Big Samurai. What the fuck? What the hell? My internet literally just cut out. I'm hoping my shit is all good. What the fuck? Hold on. I'm showing the whole shit. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my shit just cut out. Oh, okay.
When it comes to honor, I move with old Nick for brutal finish and killing so like no other and pop up like a Oni. We don't discriminate, straight eliminate. You already know it moves. I'm a soul hair, I'm a warrior monk, but I got no compassion, no sympathy, no spirit. I'm a straight demon on the monster, move for vengeance. Straight moving with the 7 master weapons, malice, club, moving with my spear, with the sickle, with a garden tool, moving with a vision club, moving with the whole piece of metal, clocking, with a whole saw with the move of a fitting and beast in human skin, like I'm fury with a whole means. With a whole piece of metal nightmare, with a whole piece of metal beast in human skin, like I'm just a brody. With a night moving, with a whole piece of fury, move like Mike Tyson on the hunt, ready to kill. Moving like I'm craving hunting, moving fucking ill.
Moving with the violation only in the mind. Moving like Michael Myers, too fucking sublime.
I'm moving with vengeance from my father, Master Takashi, straight killed in front of me. When I was a little baby, I'm trying to move with a whole piece of metal, killing instinct. Fuck with me, you gon' feel a nightmare on the scene. Make sure I remember the name, big guy samurai. Straight nightmare to the lands of the Maya. Fuck with me, you gon' be feeling what's higher. With a piece of metal, killing ancient blood scene. Yeah.
That's the entire soundtrack. So, in conclusion, suffice to say, I say that not only with that song, I believe deserves a reasonable 8. I think that the soundtrack is all around enjoyable. I feel like it has a lot more solid songs. Few that are just plain mid, okay, solid. A few bangers, actual solid, very much sop. You know, a whole new level of heat, a new sense of slap, S-L-A-P, sap, different, right? And I really do think that there's a great deal of bussin'. If you guys would like to see me review all my Big Samurai Sandy Pyre soundtrack, even with the deliberate copyrighted shit, let me know, right? So down to do that. If you'd like to see me review, look over, analyze different shit, even like bigger and better soundtracks like that, you can let me know, where the case may be. I love you guys. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Appreciate you for watching. Leave a like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you guys think about these songs in the comment section down below. And yeah, final rating, I give the Big Samurai soundtrack as a whole solid 8 out of 10.